Chapter 53. Big brother Zichen hurried over to Xiao Yumei's place as fast as he could. After understanding the situation briefly, he called Xiao Hai. Haowen actually came out again. This situation was something that Xiao Hai did not expect. On the phone, they agreed to meet at a cafe near Xiao Yumei's jewelry store. Zichen, don't worry. Haowen doesn't dare to do anything to me. Xiao Yumei smiled warmly, calming Yi Zichen's restless heart. Yi Zichen smiled at her, but the seriousness in his eyes didn't fade. The barefoot was not afraid of the shoes. If a person like Haowen, who had nothing, really went crazy, no one knew what he would do. Moreover, Xiao Hai had collected countless pieces of evidence that could land him in jail for the rest of his life. But how long had it been? He actually came out again. It was obvious that there was a huge power supporting him from behind. Little Yi. At this moment, Xiao Hai also hurried over. Yi Zichen quickly stood up from his chair and walked over. Brother Hai, do you have any clues? Xiao Hai's expression was solemn as he patted his shoulder twice. Sit down and talk. There were quite a few people in the coffee shop, so Yi Zichen and company intentionally found a corner to sit down. When you called me just now and told me that Haowen had come out, I was also shocked. After that, I used my connections to understand the situation, and the conclusion I got was Haowen had a force supporting him. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. It was as he expected. However, none of this was important. What was important was whether Haowen could enter again. Xiao Hai shook his head and gave an apologetic smile after he spoke his mind. Little Yi, don't blame Brother Hai. My Xiao family is a business family. Furthermore, our family's business isn't that big. There are some levels that the Xiao family can't get involved in. Xiao Hai's meaning was very clear. The power behind Haowen was not something that their Xiao family could compare to. This caused Yi Zichen's heart to sink. Among the people he knew, Xiao Hai was a rather high-level person. Even Xiao Hai couldn't do anything. Yi Zichen sighed, then laughed softly when he saw the apologetic expression on Xiao Hai's face. Brother Hai, you don't need to feel sorry. Even if Haowen came out, he wouldn't dare to do anything in the near future. Counter soldiers with arms and water with an earth weir. I don't think he can play any tricks. Call me anytime if you need any help. As long as Brother Hai can do it, I will do my best to help you. Many thanks, Brother Hai. Xiao Hai left. As the boss of such a large corporation, he must have a lot of things to deal with every day. The fact that he'd taken the time to meet with Yi Zichen was already giving him plenty of face. Xiao Yumei finished her coffee in one gulp, then grabbed Yi Zichen's hand with a smile. Don't worry, nothing will happen. The warmth on the back of his hand caused Yi Zichen's frown to gradually relax. He held Xiao Yumei's hand with a smile. What are you going to do later? Tiantian's birthday is the day after tomorrow. I want to buy her a birthday present. When Tian was mentioned, Xiao Yumei couldn't help but smile happily. Then, her bright eyes landed on Yi Zichen. She asked hesitantly, Are you free later? Do you want to join me? Of course. Yi Zichen liked the cutie Tian a lot, especially when she called him daddy when they first met. What he didn't expect was that his fake dad was really going to become the real dad. It seemed like this was fate. It might have been caused by that old brat, Yu Lao. Yu Lao cried, I'm not going to take the blame. Within the Chanel store on the 4th floor of the Trade Plaza, Xia Kiki held a Chanel backpack in her hands. Miss, you have good eyes. This bag has the best sales in our store. The salesgirl introduced it fervently. The shop assistant enthusiastically introduced the bag. If this bag could be sold, she would get a lot of commission. Especially when she saw Xia Kiki's outfit. She didn't seem like someone that couldn't afford this bag. Is that so? Xia Kiki's eyes brightened, but when she noticed the price, 24580. So expensive. Xia Kiki stuck out her tongue, then put the bag back. Seeing that the deal was about to be ruined, the salesgirl quickly used her trump card. Beauty, this is the last Chanel Double C checkered leather backpack in our store. What's more, this is a limited edition. If you miss it, then you'll truly miss it. Xia Kiki pouted. Although she was extremely reluctant, she didn't have that much money. Kiki, you like this bag? I'll get it to you. Jingwan walked over from the side. Girls definitely needed companions when shopping, and this time, it was Jingwan who invited Xia Kiki out to shop. No need, never mind. Xia Kiki shook her head, then reluctantly retracted her gaze from the bag and prepared to walk out of the store. At that moment, her dim eyes lit up once again. Then she jumped out of the store like a happy rabbit. Yi Zichen strolled around the trade plaza by himself. Xiao Yumei had received a call from the store manager on the way over, so she returned halfway. However, she did give Yi Zichen a difficult task. She told him to pick a gift. This truly troubled Yi Zichen. He hadn't interacted with Tian for long, so he didn't know what she would like. Zichen Gij, a coquettish voice sounded out beside Yi Zichen's ear. Then, he felt someone hug his arm. Xia Kiki. Yi Zichen was completely shocked when he saw Xia Kiki, who was hugging his arm. He looked at her in shock and thought back to the coquettish voice just now. Goosebumps instantly covered his body. Kiki, Lu Jing, who was floating in midair, murmured softly when she saw Xia Kiki. Yi Zichen sighed in his heart. He gave Lu Jing a comforting gaze, then frowned towards Xia Kiki. What are you doing? Let go of me. No. Xia Kiki dragged out her voice like a child and hugged Yi Zichen's arm tightly. What made him even more speechless was that Xia Kiki actually started to rub against him. Hurry up and let go of me. Yi Zichen's words were a bit against his will. Actually, he rather enjoyed it when Xia Kiki rubbed against him. However, due to Lu Jing above him, he could only pretend to be a gentleman. I won't let go, I won't let go. After hearing that, not only did Xia Kiki not let go, she instead became even more forceful. Yi Zichen felt extremely great in his heart, but he still maintained an impatient look on his face. What exactly do you want? Zichen Gij, come with me. Xia Kiki dragged Yi Zichen to the Chanel store. She pointed at the bag she looked at just now and put on a cute expression. I'll buy it. Chapter 54. The script wasn't supposed to be like this. Trap. This was definitely a trap. Yi Zichen was confused at first. Why did Xia Kiki suddenly become so clingy? Even if the marriage string was already tied between them, their favorability was only 10. It was impossible for them to be so intimate. No wonder. Yi Zichen's eyes were filled with playfulness. Xia Kiki smiled like an idiot and continued to pout her pink lips as she looked at him with an innocent expression. You want me to buy you a bag? Jingwan and the sales lady also walked over. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and smiled towards Jingwan. Streamer Jingwan is here too. Are you two together? I invited Coco to come with me. Jingwan smiled warmly. Even though Yi Zichen shattered her dreams at the cold drink store that day, she still didn't give up. On the other hand, she didn't give up on recruiting Yi Zichen. Isn't that perfect? Jingwan is so rich, she could just give it to you. Yi Zichen indicated towards Jingwan with his mouth. Jing Kiki bit her lips, then directly let go of his arm and clenched her teeth. Cut the crap. Are you going to give it to me or not? Xia Kiki returned to her usual self and directly threatened him. Yi Zichen couldn't help but laugh at the stark contrast. You're begging me to buy you a bag, and you're threatening me? Xia Kiki giggled, then hugged Yi Zichen's arm and shook it, as if she had a chance. Then Zichen Gij, can you help me buy a bag? You want a bag? Xia Kiki was like a little chick pecking at rice, her eyes filled with yearning. Yi Zichen smiled, then slowly pried her hands away from her arms. But I won't see you off. Yi Zichen was no idiot. He had already taken a glance at the price of the bag. Over 20,000. No matter how big his head was, he had to spend more than 20,000 yuan to buy a bag. Just take the clothes he was wearing as an example. They didn't even add up to 2,000 yuan. Yi Zichen. Xia Kiki opened her eyes wide in anger. Yi Zichen shrugged as if he was a dead pig that wasn't afraid of boiling water. Don't shout. Even if you shout, I won't buy it for you. Send her off. Lu Jing, who was floating in midair, suddenly gave Yi Zichen an order. Yi Zichen looked up speechlessly, while Lu Jing smiled like a little devil. If you want to sleep better in the future, listen to me. I don't need to sleep. Creak. Yi Zichen clenched his teeth. He truly regretted bringing Lu Qing back more and more. This was like bringing back an ancestor. Lu Jing did not say anything else, but Yi Zichen knew that this ancestor was definitely not joking with him from her hair-raising smile. If she didn't buy it, she would really do it. Assistant, wrap that bag up. I'll buy it. If he couldn't fight this female ghost head-on, he would just admit defeat. Yi Zichen clenched his teeth and told the clerk to wrap up the bag. He had already thought it through, since it was only 20,000 yuan. With his eyes of fire and gold, it was easy for him to earn money. Wait! At this moment, a discordant voice came from outside the Chanel store. Yi Zichen turned around, a hint of speechlessness in his eyes. Enemies always meet. He could actually bump into Guochang and Yao Yu in the mall. Yi Zichen's gaze paused for a moment when he saw Yao Yu. No matter what, she was a girl that he had dated for a long time. However, from the looks of it, she had a pretty good time with Guochang. At the very least, she was wearing much better clothes than when she was with him. Yi Zichen, Yao Yu had stopped the clerk just now purely because she wanted that bag. She had come to take a look 2 hours ago and had already taken a fancy to it. However, she definitely didn't have the money to buy it, so she had been waiting for Guochang to come over. She couldn't help but speak up when she saw that the bag was about to be bought by someone outside the store. What she didn't expect was that the person buying the bag was actually Yi Zichen. Can you afford this bag? This bag is more than 20,000 yuan? Yao Yu walked in with her arms around Guochang's shoulders, while her face was filled with mockery. Very quickly, she changed to a coquettish look. Changji, I want that bag. Yi Zichen rubbed his temples and shook his head. Yao Yu, why do you have to compete with me? What happened? Xiaokiki and Jingwan also came over. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth and said softly, my ex-girlfriend found a rich big bro competing with me every day for no reason. I don't know why either. Xiaokiki pouted, while a hint of disdain flashed across her eyes. She looked down on this sort of woman. Jingwan's expression was the same, but she didn't show it too obviously. Competing with you? Do you think you're worthy? Yao Yu's eyes were filled with disdain. Then she shook Guochang's arm. Changji, bye. Isn't it just Chanel? If you want, I can even buy this store for you. Guochang smiled arrogantly. Actually, his words were a bit pretentious. He just couldn't accept it. Why was a loser like Yi Zichen always surrounded by beauties? School beauty Su Yin, and now there was a school beauty Xiaokiki. More importantly, the one beside him, she seemed to be the super popular idol of a certain livestream platform, Jingwan. Why was this poor brat's luck so good? Actually, this was because he was ignorant. If he looked at the school website more, he didn't know if he would still think like that. Shop assistant, give me a bag that's the same. Guochang waved his hand, causing the shop assistant lady to smile. Sir, this is the last one in our store. Changji. Yao Yu started to act coquettishly again. Guochang licked his lips and laughed coldly. I'll pay 50,000. Raise the price. Yi Zichen sneered. Did she really think that he had no temper? Even a clay figurine would have some temper. What more a living person like him? 100,000. Yi Zichen didn't even look up as he rubbed his hands and shouted. 15, 20, 30, 50. The price of a Chanel that was merely 20-something thousand increased exponentially under Guochang's and Yi Zichen's fight. Xiaokiki and Jingwan both pulled Yi Zichen, signaling him to stop shouting. Even Lu Jing, who was floating in the air, told Yi Zichen to stop. Stop? How is that possible? Men only live for their face. Telling him to stop. 100. Guochang also hardened his heart. He also understood very clearly that it was no longer a problem of the bag. It was a problem of face. 150. Yi Zichen's face did not change at all as he continued to raise the price. Even the shop assistant was dumbfounded. She never would have thought that things would get to this point. The customers in the mall also gradually approached this store. A bag cost over $1 million. What's more, these two people didn't seem to want to give in to each other. They all wanted to see just who the bag would end up with. 200. Guochang clenched his teeth once again. Yi Zichen picked his ear and smiled. 300. Actually, Yi Zichen didn't have that much money in his card. He just wanted to screw Guochang over a bit more. Yi Zichen was sure that Guochang, this grandson, would definitely increase the price because he wanted to save face. When that happened, he would suddenly withdraw. Guochang did earn face, but he would lose money. But who would have thought that? All right, I'll let you have it. Guochang suddenly smiled playfully and withdrew from the competition. Yi Zichen was instantly shocked. Chapter 55. Gu Tian, if you always walk by the river, your shoes will get wet. Yi Zichen's move had definitely failed miserably. Yi Zichen pretended to be calm and maintained his confident smile, then mocked playfully. Young Master Gua gave up, just like that? When we first met, young Master Gua even took a few $1,000s and threw it at my face. Indeed, he's no match for young Master Yi. Yi Zichen really didn't expect Gua Chang to actually admit defeat. When Yi Zichen noticed the playful smile on his face, he knew that this grandson was digging a hole for him to jump into. Sure, play with me. Yi Zichen laughed coldly in his heart, then casually took out 2,000 yuan from his wallet and directly threw it at Gua Chang's face like how he acted arrogantly at the beginning. Use it to buy some nice clothes. If you want to pick up girls, you need to have the capital. In the next moment, Gua Chang's face turned livid. The same action, the same words, that was clearly what he'd told Yi Zichen. Get lost. Yi Zichen pointed outside the Chanel store. He had to hurry up and get rid of this grandson, then fool the clerk and buy it at the original price. Young Master Yi is right. He didn't expect Gua Chang to be so shrewd. He actually endured this humiliation with a faint smile on his face. This bag is young Master Yi's. Miss, hurry up and wrap it up for young Master Yi. 3 million is a sky-high price. Gua Chang continued to emphasize the price of the bag, causing Yi Zichen's expression to stiffen. He was absolutely certain that Yi Zichen didn't have that much money on hand, which was why he'd accepted it all. When the time came, if he really couldn't take out the money, he could pay back double. This time, it was Yi Zichen's turn to be troubled. He really didn't have any money. I want this bag. At this moment, a young man with smoking hair walked out from the crowd. When the shop assistant saw the young man, her expression changed, and she quickly lowered her head to greet him. Young Master Gu. From the looks of it, he seems to be a regular customer of this Chanel store. Yi Zichen knitted his eyebrows and thought to himself, why is my luck so bad? I actually ran into this person again. However, it was better for him to not embarrass himself. At the same time, the manager of the store came out to greet them. Young Master Gu, why are you here? My good friend was trying to buy a handbag in our shop, but someone actually raised the price maliciously. What are you doing as a manager? The pipe-haired youth frowned. The manager immediately panicked. Young Master Gu, I have no idea at all. In fact, the manager was very clear about this. When he was in the shop just now, he was still calculating in his heart which of the two would be able to buy it at a high price. Who would have thought that young Master Gu would actually come here? Humph. Young Master Gu harumphed coldly. Young Master Yi is my good friend. Do you know what to do? Understood, understood. The manager pulled the shopping guide inside quickly. At the same time, young Master Gu also looked at Gua Chang with disdain. Just now, I heard you say that if you want to, you can buy this store for the woman beside you. Then I'll sell this shop to you for 50 million yuan. As soon as he finished speaking, young Master Gu extended his hand toward Gua Chang. Clearly, he wanted him to pay up. Gua Chang said that just to show off. His family did have some money, but he couldn't take out tens of millions of pocket money. No money? What are you pretending to be rich for if you don't have money? Young Master Gu didn't hold back at all. He clapped his hands, causing the mall security to hurry over. Young Master Gu, ask these two to leave. Oh yeah, take a photo of them, then hang a sign outside our mall. They and dogs are not allowed to enter. Yes. The security dragged Gua Chang and Yao Yu out of the place, ignoring their resistance. Only then did young Master Gu walk in front of Yi Zichen with a smile and reach out his hand. Young Master Yi, can we get to know each other now? Gu Tian. Yi Zichen actually didn't have a good impression of this brat. That geezer had even threatened him, but since the other party did help him solve the problem, he could not be nice to him. Yi Zichen. At this moment, the manager and the shopping guide also handed the bag over to Gu Tian. Gu Shang casually handed it to Yi Zichen with a smile. Just treat it as my gift to young Master Yi. Here for you. Yi Zichen took the bag and directly chucked it into Xia Kik's hands. Xia Kiki looked at the bag Yi Zichen handed over in surprise. She bit her lips and blushed. Thank you. Ding dong. Your affability level with Xia Kiki increased by 100. Current affability level, 110. Yi Zichen already guessed that it would be like this, but he didn't think that the affability level would increase by so much. However, when he thought about it, he got into so much trouble for a bag like this. If it was a normal girl, she might have already pledged her life to him. From the looks of it, Xia Keek's willpower was pretty good. I didn't think that young Master Yi would be a passionate person as well. 3 million isn't something a normal person can do. However, this beauty is worth young Master Yi being so impulsive. Hearing Gu Tian's words, the shyness on Xia Keek's face deepened. Ding dong. Your affability level with Xia Keeki increased by 10. Current affability level, 120. Ugh. Yi Zichen was truly speechless. He was afraid that if the affability level increased too much, then Xia Keeki would truly fall in love with him. The hardest thing to accept was a beauty's favor. He already had a woman by his side. He was afraid of letting Xia Keeki down. However, Gu Tian's affability level increased once again with a single sentence. Do you have business with me? Yi Zichen was truly afraid that Gu Tian's mouth would say something else, causing the affability level to increase again. I really do have business with young Master Yi. Gu Tian did not deny it. Then let's go. Yi Zichen walked out the door first. Gu Tian felt a bit confused. The last time they met, they were at loggerheads with each other, but this time, could it be that saying good things about Yi Zichen just now was useful? Thinking that, Gu Tian couldn't help but chat a bit with Xia Keeki. Ding dong. Your affability level with Xia Keeki increased by 30. Current affability level, 150. Ugh. Yi Zichen, who had already arrived outside the Chanel store, nearly coughed up blood when he received the notification. Gu Tian, F*CKU. In a music restaurant on the 6th floor of a commercial building. The melodious piano music reverberated within the restaurant. This sort of joyful music would make one's mood better. However, Yi Zichen, his face was even darker than dirt. Young Master Yi, you truly have good eyes. I can guarantee that beauty. It's absolutely natural, without any additives. You're worth it, not imported. Even now, Gu Tian still thought that Yi Zichen treated him like that because of Xia Keeki. In order to improve their relationship, he couldn't help but mutter a bit more. Can you shut your mouth for me? Just how low is this brat's EQ to be so naive? If it wasn't because he helped me once in the store, Yi Zichen couldn't help but want to slap him a few times to wake him up. Gu Tian was a bit confused. From his tone, it seems like he flattered him? That shouldn't be the case. Should he try another method? Young Master Yi, I don't have any other thoughts towards that beauty. I just feel like you two are rather compatible. Bang. Chapter 56. Little White Wake Up. Gu Tian finally managed to convince Yi Zichen to stay. However, in his heart, he still firmly believed that Yi Zichen had only gotten angry because he flattered Yi Zichen, but that he was in the right direction. What do you want to say to me? Yi Zichen leaned back in his chair and smiled. Meanwhile, Lu Qing floated above Gu Tian's head and continuously made faces at him, which was actually a signal from Yi Zichen, who asked this star to spout nonsense and let him get into trouble. Can you tell the beauty on my head to stop messing around? Both Yi Zichen, who was sitting on the chair, and Lu Jing, who was floating above, were shocked. Yi Zichen stared at him and gulped, unable to say anything. Gu Tian's brows raised as he smiled and shrugged. Young Master Yi, with the same kind of people. Yi Zichen signaled Lu Jing to return to the dragon eye with his gaze, then licked his dry lips with a strange look in his eyes. You can see her? Yes, and I also know that she's a female ghost who hasn't died yet. The corners of Gu Tian's mouth curled into a sunny smile, and he said, Young Master Yi is able to get so close to the female ghost, and even have a magic treasure to take her in. Could it be that young Master Yi still wants to say that we're not the same kind of people? Yi Zichen remained silent. It seems like this guy with low EQ treated me as one of his own. Yi Zichen thought for a moment, then spoke up. All right, we are indeed the same kind of people. But what do you want from me? It's nothing. Gu Tian picked up the drink on the table, took a sip, and said, I was there when young Master Yi was at the barbecue restaurant. Fu Qingming sent him. He specifically mentioned the barbecue restaurant. Back then, the commotion was indeed quite big, but Gu Tian didn't seem like the kind of person who needed to suck up to others. Why did he ask you to find me? Is he trying to deal with me? Gu Tian raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect Yi Zichen to be able to determine that Fu Qingming had sought him out with just a few words. This made him even more determined to get to know Yi Zichen. Fu Qingming did look for me, but after seeing young Master Yi at the barbecue restaurant, I rejected him. Then why are you looking for me? I just want to get to know him and make friends. I don't want to be friends with you. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes towards Gu Tian, then wanted to walk out of the restaurant. Gu Tian quickly chased after him and said, "Why? Did I offend young Master Yi in any way? The old man looking for me at school that day was one of your people, right?" "Yes. At that time, he threatened my family. I hate it when other people threaten my family. That was definitely unintentional." Gu Tian smiled bitterly as he explained, "I wouldn't use young Master Ye's family to threaten you." "Oh, but I still don't want to be friends with you." "Why is that?" "Figure out yourself." With that, Yi Zichen took out his phone to look at the time, then disappeared into the crowd of the mall. He hadn't even bought Tiantian's birthday present yet, so he didn't have the time to deal with someone with a negative EQ. Gu Tian stood on the spot and pondered for a long time. He then thought of Xia Kiki. Gu Tian picked up his phone and spoke into the phone. "Help me investigate someone." When Yi Rong returned to the mansion with a set of Barbie dolls, she was completely stunned when she saw the dolls in Yi Zichen's hands. "Zichen, you like these things?" Yi Zichen had picked the Barbie doll for Tiantian's birthday present at the mall. He was afraid that the people in the dorm would think too much, so he thought of bringing the doll over to Yi Rong. Unexpectedly, even his own mother did not trust him. "This is a gift." Yi Rong let out a long sigh after hearing the explanation. Yi Zichen sighed helplessly in his heart and asked, "Is Xiaobai awake?" "No, he's still sleeping." Yi Rong's eyes revealed a trace of worry. Little White had been accompanying her for the past few days. Furthermore, Little White was very smart, so she liked it very much. She was really worried about Xiaobai's condition recently. "I'll go take a look," Yi Zichen replied, then walked towards the living room of the mansion. "Don't go back later. Mom will make you braised pork tonight." "Sure." After Yi Zichen brought Yi Rong over, he spent very little time with her. Seeing his mother's expectant look, he didn't have the heart to refuse. Yi Rong instantly smiled after getting Yi Zichen's confirmation, then quickly walked out of the mansion. Lil White continued to sleep in his personal nest. Even Yi Zichen was a bit worried after not waking up for so long. Yi Zichen sat on the sofa and looked at Lil White for a while, then called Lu Jing out. "Safe?" Lu Jing peeked her head out and looked around. When she saw that it was Yi Zichen's home, she floated out in relief. "That brat said that he's called Gu Tian. Is he from the same place as that Grandpa Gu you know?" "How would I know? But since he can see me, and we both have the surname Gu, they should be from the same family." Lu Jing twitched her mouth towards Yi Zichen, then floated around the mansion. Yi Zichen allowed her to float around the mansion as he fell into deep thought. Now that a person with a special ability had appeared in his life, it was very possible that Gu Tian was the person that Chief Lu and many other people mentioned to him, people from that place. He didn't know if it was good or bad for him to come into contact with people from that place so quickly. The most important thing was to not hurt Lu Jing. Gu Tian's words revealed a lot of important clues. He mentioned that Lu Jing was a virgin ghost, and specifically mentioned that her lifespan wasn't up yet. There was definitely something wrong with this. Otherwise, he wouldn't have specifically mentioned these 2 points, and just directly said that she was a virgin ghost. Just as Yi Zichen was deep in thought, a huge wave of energy appeared in the mansion. Yi Zichen opened his eyes and saw Lil White, who was lying in his nest, and all of his fur stood up. Lu Jing also floated over when she felt the abnormality and looked at Lil White. "What happened to Lil White?" "You're asking me? How would I know?" Yi Zichen was speechless. If he didn't have that WeChat group, he would still be a normal mortal. How was he supposed to know these high-end questions? "Oh wow, Daddy feels so good." Lil White still looked like a poodle, but what shocked Yi Zichen was that it spoke. Lil White. Yi Zichen was unable to hide the shock in his heart as he shouted towards Lil White. "Hey, boss." Lil White wagged his tail and jumped out of his nest with a fawning expression. "Boss, you're my real dad from now on. I'll do whatever you tell me to do." F***CK, the dog spoke. If this was filmed into a short video and posted on Weibo, it would definitely be on the headlines. However, Yizichin's expression darkened when he heard Lil White's real dad. He raised his hand and slapped his head, then cursed. "Who the F***CK is your dad? I don't have a dog son like you. Stop bullshitting. You should have evolved after eating the howling celestial dog's dog food, right?" Of course, Lil White raised his proud head arrogantly, only to receive another five-finger mountain from Yizichin. Chapter 57. Class monitor invites you just as Yizichin and Lu Jing were filled with anticipation, waiting for Lil White to show them some shocking secret technique. What they got was, "Boss, I didn't learn any secret techniques." "Pa." He slapped Xiaobai to the side of the sofa. Xiaobai rubbed its head like a human, its innocent eyes filled with grievance. "Boss, why did you hit me?" "Pa." What greeted him was another slap. This time, Lil White learned his lesson and stopped talking. He merely stared at Yizichin with a wronged look and sat on the ground. After a while, Yizichin spoke up. "Did you come here to act cute in front of us?" Xiaobai shook her head. "Why are you shaking your head?" Yizichin took out a dog bone from his phone and placed it on the tea table. Lil White stuck out its tongue and jumped up to snatch it. "Pa." Another slap. "Boss, why do you keep hitting me?" There is no need to mention how aggrieved Xiaobai was. Yizichin pointed at the bones on the tea table. "This is the dog food I got from Erlang Shun. This is for the howling celestial dog, the #1 dog in the heavenly court. Even I can't help but want to take a few bites. If I let you eat it, you're telling me that I didn't learn anything? Didn't I just eat?" The howling celestial dog was able to become a dog of the heavenly court mainly because it had a good boss. Besides, how long has it been eating? How long have I been eating? Xiaobai couldn't help but defend himself and was slapped again. "What? Do you feel wronged because of me? All right, you don't need to eat this dog food. Of course, my mom loves you, so I can't let you starve to death. Tomorrow, I'll buy you a few dozen bags of ordinary dog food. You can spend the rest of your life in peace." When Yizichin put away the bones on the tea table, Lu Jing, who was floating in the air, couldn't help but advise him. "Why are you angry at a dog?" Lil White also bit onto Yizichin's pants and refused to let him go. "I'm mad at it." Yizichin sneered. "Do I have time to care about it? You still say you're not angry?" TSK. Lu Jing rolled her eyes at Yizichin, while Lil White also let go of Yizichin's pants. "Boss, don't be angry. Let's talk reason. It's true that I ate the dog food of the Heavenly Court's #1 dog, but I really just ate it, right? When that howling celestial dog first started following Erlang Shun, it was much weaker than me. To be able to become a dog, didn't it take a long time to slowly eat? I've only just started eating, and I can already speak the truth. My talent is already considered top-notch." Yizichin also knew that Lil White's words made sense. The main issue was that he had held too much hope for the dog bone. For a moment, Little White found it hard to accept that it knew nothing. Yizichin glanced at Lil White, who was squatting on the ground, then reached out his hand to rub its head. "Did it hurt?" "That's nothing." Xiaobai raised his head and stuck out his tongue. "Boss, can I eat another bone?" "No, you slept for a few days after eating a bone. My mom is always worried about you. What if you're still sleeping?" "No, the reason I fell asleep was because I just started eating and there was a process of absorption. Now that I've eaten, I won't." Lil White stuck out his tongue. Yizichin sighed helplessly, then chucked the bone over. "Eat it sparingly, just 5. Lil White ran to the side of the mansion with the dog bone in his mouth. Yizichin couldn't help but smile when he saw it wagging its tail. "Oh yeah, you can't talk when my mom comes back later, understand?" "Understood." Yi Rong cooked a table full of dishes that night, and Yizichin's bowl was never empty. The moment his bowl was empty, Yi Rong would definitely clamp a small mountain of food into his bowl. Yizichin ate so much during the meal that he could barely walk. Yizichin laid on the bed in his bedroom and clenched his fist tightly as he thought back to his mother's happy smile. Ever since he was young, His mother had raised him painstakingly. He swore that he would definitely let his mother live a good life and make the man who abandoned them pay the price. Yi Zichen fell into a deep sleep with that thought in mind. Nothing happened the entire night. Ding dong. Your affability level with Xia Kiki increased by 20. Current affability level, 170. When Yi Zichen, who was in class, suddenly received such a message, he instantly revealed a confused expression. He took out his phone and clicked on his marriage string with Xia Kiki. Indeed, the favorability displayed on the screen was 170, but he didn't do anything at all. Yi Zichen weirdly waited until the end of class. The moment he walked out of the classroom, he saw Xia Kiki, who was standing in the hallway. "Why are you here?" Xia Kiki raised her head and blushed. Just when Yi Zichen felt strange about the increase in affability level, he felt even more confused when he saw this. Smooch. Before he could react, Xia Kiki directly kissed him on the cheek and said with a blush, "I receive your present. I receive your gift. I like it very much." With that, she ran away from the hallway shyly. Yi Zichen was stunned. He didn't give her a present. Was it a supernatural event? "Hey, why are you like this? You already have a girlfriend. Why are you still flirting with Kiki?" Lu Jing floated in front of Yi Zichen angrily. Yi Zichen said innocently, "I didn't flirt with her." Yi Zichen said innocently, "I didn't. If I didn't, why would she kiss you? She even said that you gave her a present." Lu Jing frowned and put her hands on her waist. "I really didn't give her a present, and I didn't want to flirt with her." Yi Zichen truly felt wronged. He let out a long sigh and sighed. "You stay by my side every day. You should know clearly whether I gave her a present or not. I stayed at my mom's for the entire day yesterday, and you call me to class so early in the morning. How would I have time to give her a present?" Lu Jing thought about it and agreed. She stayed by Yi Zichen's side every day. He definitely wouldn't be able to hide anything from her. Thinking that, Lu Jing couldn't help but ask in confusion, "Then what's going on? How would I know?" Yi Zichen was speechless. Seeing that, Lu Jing twitched her mouth. Fine, stop pretending to be innocent. It doesn't matter if you gave her a present or not. You earned a kiss from Kiki. Don't make a sour face. It's like you suffered a huge loss." "I feel wronged. TSK, I really want to hit you." Lu Jing spat at him, then rolled her eyes and returned to the dragon eye. Daytime was very harmful to ghosts like her, so she needed to return to the dragon eye to nourish her soul. Yi Zichen was still completely confused even when Lu Jing entered the dragon eye. This is too weird. At that moment, Yi Zichen felt someone appear beside him. He turned around and saw Sun Yaij standing beside him. Sun Yaij was their class rep, one of the 4 school beauties of Polytechnic University. She was normally a girl of few words. Yi Zichen heard that she ran for class rep in order to change her introverted personality, but she was still the same even after 2 years of training. If it wasn't because there were more guys in the class, she might not have been the class rep a long time ago. Although they had been classmates for 2 years, Yi Zichen didn't have much interaction with her. She was the type of person that he wouldn't say more than 2 sentences to in a year. Yi Zichen was quite surprised that she appeared in front of him. "You were looking for me?" Yi Zichen pointed at himself, only to see Sun Yaij nod with certainty. Chapter 58. Old Master Su in Danger. Yi Zichen was overwhelmed by the fact that the beautiful class rep actually had business with him. "Class monitor son, what do you want me to do? As long as I can do it, I will do it for you." Yi Zichen acted like a slave in television dramas. Sun Yaij wanted to laugh when she saw that, but she didn't. Introverted people were like this. They didn't like to show their feelings to others. "You don't have to do this." Sun Yaij's voice was as gentle as honey. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. "In a while, it will be the 60th anniversary of the school's founding. The school requires every department to produce a few programs. I would like to invite you. Let me do a show." Yi Zichen finished Sun Yaij's unfinished sentence. Sun Yaij glanced at him, then nodded. I actually, Sun Yaij seemed to be very worried that Yi Zichen would refuse, so she couldn't say a complete sentence after thinking for a long time. Yi Zichen smiled. "Sure, I'll participate." A joyful smile immediately appeared on Sun Yaij's face, and with a mosquito-like voice, she said, Thank you. Yi Zichen nodded towards Sun Yij with a smile, then waved his hand to leave. Yi Zichen felt pity for the class rep who was still like this after being a class rep for so long. Yi Zichen couldn't say that Yi Zichen's personality was bad. He could only say that such a personality would cause him to suffer greatly when he entered society. As Yi Zichen shook his head and sighed, he saw his goddess, Su Yin, quickly run out of the school. He wanted to call her, but at that very moment his phone rang. He put the phone by his ear, then his expression turned extremely solemn. Half an hour later, at the school gate, a silver sports car stopped in front of Yi Zichen. The car door opened, and Su Yiyun hurriedly ran out of the car. Yi, how is the old man? Su Yiyun's entire face showed just how nervous he was. Yi Zichen wanted to comfort him not to worry too much, but Su Yiyun grabbed his hand and dragged him into the car. Along the way, Su Yiyun stepped on the gas pedal as if he didn't care about his life. Yi Zichen's heart sank when he saw his solemn expression. Third brother, don't worry too much. I'm here to help your father get better. Bingcheng First People's Hospital. The lights in the emergency room were still on, and there were more than 10 people standing in the corridor outside the emergency room. Everyone's eyes were solemn as they stared at the light in the emergency room. The two hurried footsteps sounded out from the end of the corridor. It was Su Yiyun and Yi Zichen. Yin, how's Grandpa? Su Yiyun asked the bewildered Su Yin, who was standing in the hallway. Su Yin turned around, bit her lip, and shook her head. OL3, you and Su Yin? Yi Zichen didn't quite understand what was going on. Su Yiyun let out a long sigh and nodded. Su Yin is my second uncle's child. I'm her older brother. Doesn't that mean? Yi Zichen looked at Su Yin in shock, then pointed at the operation room. Old Master Su is inside. Su Chi-hu, who was standing at the entrance of the operation room, turned around when he heard the conversation behind him. When he saw Yi Zichen, he immediately frowned. Who brought him here? Su Qilong also turned around. When he saw Yi Zichen beside Su Yiyun, his eyes lit up. Because he was too worried about the old man's situation, he actually forgot about this expert. He didn't expect his son to know how to invite this expert over. Second uncle, I brought him here. Su Yiyun raised his head to meet Su Chi-hu's gaze. Su Chi-hu glared at him and cursed. Is this a place where anyone can come? Chi-hu, Lil, Yi is not a normal person. Su Qilong reached out his hand and patted Su Chi-hu's shoulder. Big brother, do you know him? Su Chi-hu revealed a shocked expression. Only when he saw the other party nod did he frown and sigh. Bro, I don't care what relationship he has with you guys. But what kind of place is this? Do you know the background of this brat? You actually let him come? Chi-hu. Su Qilong could tell from Su Chi-hu's tone that his little brother seemed to have a huge problem with Yi Zichen. However, he knew full well that Yi Zichen was an expert. Chi-hu, don't say any more. If you have the time, then pray that Dad will be fine. Su Chi-hu turned silent, then clenched his teeth and turned around. 13 hours later, the operation was still ongoing. Yi Zichen and Su Yiyun leaned against the wall in the smoking area and smoked. During these 10-odd hours, the two of them did not say a single word. After they finished smoking, the two of them walked towards the operation room at the same time. At that moment, Su Yiyun suddenly grabbed Yi Zichen's shoulder. Yi, if my grandpa isn't saved by the doctors, do you have a way to save him? Only then did Yi Zichen notice that Su Yiyun's eyes were completely bloodshot. It could be seen that he was very nervous and under a lot of pressure. Yi Zichen patted his shoulder with a smile. Old man, Su has a long life. Old master, Su will live a long and prosperous life. The surgery will definitely be a success. No, I need you to give me a definite answer. I trust you more than those doctors. Su Yiyun stared straight at Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen touched the phone in his pocket. The effect of the Great Recovery Pill was to save those who were about to die. He was unable to confirm whether or not the Great Recovery Pill would be effective if something really happened to Old Man Su. Yi, give me an answer. Yes. Only then did Su Yiyun's tense nerves finally relax. He laughed loudly and gave Yi Zichen a bear hug. Thank you. Su Yiyun's expression relaxed a lot after hearing Yi Zichen's promise. When the two of them returned to the hallway of the operation room, they saw that the operation had already ended. "Dad, how was Grandpa's operation?" Su Yun quickly ran over. However, when he saw Su Qilong and Su Qihu's expressions, he looked towards Yi Zichen in confusion. "Director Su, Colonel Su, I'm really sorry." The main surgeon was an old man around 60 years of age, Deng Chung. Haha. Just as everyone was silently trying to accept this reality, Su Yun suddenly burst into laughter. His eyes were bloodshot as he cursed at Zheng Chung. "Quack! Lil Yun!" Su Qihu roared towards Su Yun. Deng Chung could be said to be a leading figure in the modern medical field, and he had personally invited him over. What? Isn't someone who can't even perform a successful operation a quack? Su Yun laughed without restraint. Slap! Su Qihu raised his hand and slapped Su Yun. "Lily, stop messing around." Su Yun was already covered in tears. However, when she saw Su Yun get slapped, she silently walked beside him and sobbed. "Big brother." Su Yun ignored the pain on his face. He merely turned around and smiled towards Yi Zichen. Chapter 59. Black and white impermanence. Yi Zichen was merely trying to cheer Su Yun up in the smoking area. But it was just as Su Yun said. The operation had failed. Does it count? Yi Zichen couldn't help but ask himself, did he really have the ability to save Elder Su, who even medical experts were unable to save? "Yi Zi, answer me." Su Yun roared like a madman. Yi Zichen looked up and took a deep breath. Yes. Everyone outside the operation room was confused by the two of them. Only Su Qilong's eyes lit up. "I can save old man Su, but I have a condition." Yi Zichen's words caused a huge uproar. Both the Su family's relatives and the hospital's medical staff were shocked. "Young man, you can't talk nonsense." The person who spoke was also an authoritative expert in the medical field. He was also present during the surgery. It was impossible for Elder Su to survive. Otherwise, they wouldn't have stopped the surgery. "Kid, this is not a place for you to spout nonsense." Su Qihu also shocked Yi Zichen quite a bit. However, Yi Zichen merely smiled calmly in response. "Don't doubt the veracity of my words. Just because you can't do it doesn't mean that no one can." "Young man, are you a medical student?" Deng Chung seemed to be infected by Yi Zichen's confidence. Yi Zichen nodded. Actually, he was a veterinarian, but he needed the chance to enter the operation room. If he were to say that he was a veterinarian, then it was impossible for him to enter. "All right, I'll give you this chance." Su Qihu couldn't understand why Deng Chung agreed when he called the medical staff over to bring Yi Zichen a sterilized suit. "Professor Zheng." Zheng Chung raised his hand to stop Su Qihu's words and smiled. "Since this young man is so confident, why don't we let him try? Of course, this requires the consent of your family members, but I feel that both you and Elder Su need a chance." At this moment, Su Qilong also chimed in. "Qihu isn't an ordinary person. Trust him." The two people with the most authority in the hall had spoken up. Su Qihu clenched his teeth and moved aside. "I told you, I have conditions. You can raise your conditions after you succeed." Su Qihu already disliked Yi Zichen, so his tone was not particularly friendly either. Yi Zichen pursed his lips. "I want to bring it up now. Speak. After I succeed, you can't let Su Yin go through a political marriage." Yi Zichen looked directly at Su Qihu's furious gaze. Actually, Yi Zichen was rather afraid of Su Qihu from the bottom of his heart. Being in the army for many years caused him to have an unbearable, murderous aura. However, for Su Yin and Elder Su, he was willing to throw caution to the wind. "Don't try to lie to me. I can tell if you're telling the truth or lying." Yi Zichen's eyes flashed with a golden light, causing Su Qihu to feel like he actually lost focus for a moment. When he came to his senses, he looked at Yi Zichen with a hint of fear in his eyes. "Sure. If Su Yin wants to be with me, you can't stop her." Su Yin, who was sobbing to the side, blushed. Many of the medical staff around them also had a look of understanding on their faces. No wonder this young man was like this. It was all because of this girl. More people began to suspect that this young man was simply trying to show off because he had no confidence in himself. "Don't hesitate. Elder Su doesn't have much time. Give me an answer." Su Chihu did not reply. Yi Zichen frowned. Sure. Su Chihu glared at him. Su Chihu glared and said, however, if you fail, you can't have any contact with Su Yin in the future. You truly are a filial son. Yi Zichen smiled playfully. Don't worry, I won't fail. Remember your promise. With that, Yi Zichen walked into the operation room. Deng Cheng, who stood behind him, asked, do you need help? I can help you. No need. Yi Zichen's reply was cold, firm, and extremely confident. He walked into the operation room and closed the door. Deng Cheng looked toward Su Yin, who was on the side. When he saw Su Yin, who was clenching her fists and praying, and the heroic figure in his mind, this young man might really succeed. Within the operation room, Elder Su's body was already covered with a white cloth. This was a sign that the treatment had failed. Yi Zichen clicked open the treasure chest on WeChat and took out a great recovery pill. Why did Lil Yi come in? A murmur sounded out in midair. Yi Zichen looked up and saw that Elder Su's soul was already floating in midair. Elder Su. The moment Yi Zichen called out, the great recovery pill in his hand already fell from his hand. The soul leaving the body meant that Elder Su was completely dead. The great recovery pill was useless then. Lil Yi, you can see me? Elder Su revealed a hint of surprise and floated beside Yi Zichen. At this moment, Lu Jing also ran out from the dragon eye and stretched. Aya, I slept so comfortably. Yi Zichen, why did you come to the operation room? She immediately exclaimed when she saw Elder Su, who was also floating in midair. Ghost, what are you shouting for? Aren't you a ghost? Yi Zichen raised his hand and grabbed Lu Jing down, then nodded towards Elder Su with a wry smile. Elder Su, I can indeed see you. Haha, I knew that you aren't a normal person. Elder Su did not reveal too much of a surprised expression, as if everything was as he expected. Perfect, Lil Yi, you came. Help me pass a message to my second son. Hubby, this seems to be the place. A feminine and sharp voice suddenly sounded out in the operation room. Elder Su's body started to tremble intensely when he heard that voice. This is the place. A slightly rough voice rang out. Not long after, a ghost dressed in white and a ghost dressed in black appeared in midair above the operating theater. There was a talisman stuck on their foreheads and a tall hat on their heads. Black and white impermanences. Yi Zichen was stunned. He didn't think that black and white impermanences truly existed, and they were *king, husband and wife. From the looks of it, they came to take Elder Su away. Elder Su, come behind me, Yi Zichen shouted. Yi Zichen shouted, causing Elder Su to instantly hide behind him. Didn't the higher-ups say that there's only one dead ghost? Why are there two? There's even a living person. White impermanence's sharp voice sounded out once again. Black impermanence looked towards Yi Zichen. TSK, what does a living person have to do with us? However, this little ghost girl is a virgin. She hasn't reached the end of her lifespan. This kind of ghost has to wait until her lifespan is over before she can reincarnate. But Z's, Black Impermanence licked his lips with his long tongue and rubbed his hands. This virgin ghost girl is really beautiful. White Impermanence's expression changed. It was clear that her man was interested in this virgin ghost girl. However, she was one of the weaker ones in the family, so although she was angry, she didn't dare to say anything. With that, the two of them walked towards Elder Su and Lu Jing with the chains. Halfway there, White Impermanence suddenly stopped. Chapter 60. I'm a ghost. Ha! The Black Impermanence raised his hand and gave the White Impermanence a knock on the head. Don't talk nonsense. Can mortals see us? Ignoring this idiotic woman, the Black Impermanence walked over to Lu Jing with a gentle expression on his face and the huge chain in his hand. Little sister, do you want to be reincarnated? I'm the Black Impermanence of the underworld. I can take you to reincarnate. Isn't it just a trainee? White Impermanence muttered from behind. Due to the gradual expansion of the underworld's customer base, the underworld's ghost servants were also expanding. For example, the Black and White Impermanence who came to capture ghosts this time were the subordinates of the 10 Grade E marshals. Lu Jing blinked, then looked at Yi Zichen, who was beside her. The two of them had been inseparable for so long that they more or less had developed some tacit understanding. Seeing his expression, Lu Jing knew what to say. Big brother Black Impermanence, is what you said true? Lu Jing put on a look as if she really wanted to reincarnate. Of course, as long as you come with us, we can guarantee that you will find a good family. White Impermanence rubbed her head and walked over, but her tone was slightly threatening. Lu Jing didn't care about White Impermanence's threat. She didn't want to leave with Black Impermanence anyway. She did it for fun. But Lu Jing hesitated for a moment. The Black Impermanence hurriedly said, "But what? I can't bear to part with my boyfriend." Lu Jing hugged Yi Zichen's shoulders, causing the Black and White Impermanence to reveal a look of understanding. Ordinary ghosts would gradually forget their experiences in the mortal world as time passed, but female ghosts were different. She would remember everything from when she was alive, and she would stick to the people who were important to her when she was alive, especially men. The Black and White Impermanence's chains couldn't bind someone like Lu Jing, who hadn't reached the end of her lifespan. This was also the reason why they didn't use force. Seeing the beautiful ghost hesitate, the White Impermanence was happy, but the Black Impermanence was unhappy. Little sister, humans and ghosts walk different paths. It's impossible for you and your boyfriend to be together. Moreover, you will absorb his yang qi if you stay by his side. You will harm him. The Black Impermanence tried his best to persuade him, but the White Impermanence spoke in an ambiguous tone. "I think it's pretty good." Black Impermanence raised his hand in anger to hit White Impermanence again. Even Yi Zichen couldn't stand this kind of domestic violence. He raised his hand, grabbed the Black Impermanence's arm, and threw him to the side. "This is your woman. You need to protect her with your life, not beat her up." "Ew. Are you a human or a ghost?" Yi Zichen's move completely shocked the Black and White Impermanences. How could a mortal see them and capture them? "My yang energy is so strong. Of course I'm a human." Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at Black Impermanence, then walked towards White Impermanence. White Impermanence was also stunned. She stood rooted to the ground and looked at Black Impermanence. For some reason, she didn't feel the slightest bit of heartache. Thinking about what the Black Impermanence had done after being an emissary for so many years, perhaps the two of them were indeed husband and wife when they died, but now they were just husband and wife in name only. "Go over there and chat with Lu Jing and Elder Su. You won't be able to catch these two ghosts." "All right." White Impermanence nodded and walked towards Elder Su and Lu Jing. But when White Impermanence said, "Good," there was no shrill voice. Yi Zichen did not notice this detail, and merely walked towards Black Impermanence with his hands on his waist. "Stay further away from me. I'm a ghost servant of the underworld." Black Impermanence raised his shriveled hand and pointed at Yi Zichen. However, his trembling tone revealed the fear in his heart. A mortal could actually see him and catch him. "I don't care if you're a ghost servant or not." "What? Can you take me away?" Yi Zichen raised his hand and slapped Black Impermanence's face. Black Impermanence didn't do anything, but Yi Zichen gasped and shook his numb hand. "His face is made of stone, right? Slap yourself." Yi Zichen placed his hands behind his back and ordered Black Impermanence. "I'm a ghost servant. Go serve him my ass. Even King Yama wouldn't be able to do anything here." Slap. Black Impermanence clenched his teeth, then slapped himself. "Bullying a woman, you're pretty capable." Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and looked at Black Impermanence, who was on the ground. "Slap yourself a few more times. Lousy really doesn't like you. Don't go too far. I'm a ghost servant. Slap yourself or not. If not, then I'll slap you." Yi Zichen glared at him. Black Impermanence gulped, then slapped himself twice. Seeing that, Yi Zichen nodded in satisfaction. "Go and apologize to your woman. Don't go too far. I'm a ghost servant. Are you going or not?" Black Impermanence directly stood up, walked in front of White Impermanence, and bowed deeply. "Sorry. Be more sincere." Yi Zichen raised his leg and kicked him. Black Impermanence looked back. However, when he saw Yi Zichen's eyes open wide, he instantly shrunk his neck and apologized to White Impermanence. "Sorry, I shouldn't have hit you." Slap yourself a few more times. Slap, slap. Black Impermanence did everything that Yi Zichen told him to do, then was thrown into a corner by Yi Zichen. Tell me, who told you to come and capture Elder Su? Black Impermanence was no longer as stubborn as before. If Yi Zichen was a ghost, then he might be able to fight him a few times. However, Yi Zichen was a human. Ghost servants had a rule that they couldn't do anything without orders. If they violated it, then the result would be their soul dispersing. Actually, this rule was pretty good. Mortals couldn't see ghosts. Ghosts couldn't be moved, so the two realms had always been peaceful. But F***CK, this hero could see ghosts. He could even catch him. Hero, this lowly one, is just following orders. This has nothing to do with this lowly one. So cowardly. Yi Zichen did not expect Black Impermanence to be so cowardly. He wasn't the type of person that liked to bully the weak. Since the other party was so cowardly, he didn't have any interest in bullying him. I'm telling you, you can't take these two ghosts away. Black Impermanence instantly cried. Hero, we don't have to take that virgin ghost, but we must take that old man away. His lifespan is already up. The higher-ups sent us over to take him. He'll be alive soon. Hero, stop joking. Mortals have a fixed lifespan. When it's up, it's up. What's more, his soul has already left. Even if you can find something to replenish his lifespan, there's no way to bring his soul back. Yi Zichen remained silent for a moment, then pointed at Black Impermanence. Squat here if you dare to stand up, then I'll beat you up. Yes. Black Impermanence is squatted obediently in the corner, while Yi Zichen walked over. How is it? What did he say? Lu Qing asked. Yi Zichen shook his head. Black Impermanence said that Elder Su's lifespan is already up, but from what he said, it seems like there's something that can replenish lifespan. But he said something about soul separation. Soul separation is separating the soul from the body. White Impermanence spoke up with a domineering tone. Then how can the soul return to the body? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. I'm not sure, but the heavenly court. White Impermanence stopped halfway. Sorry, I really want to help you, but there are rules that I can't say. That's enough. Yi Zichen smiled. Since the heavenly court was mentioned, everything became easier. Chapter 61. Here's my chance. When he opened the chat group, most of the people inside were chatting. Yi Zichen wrote a message, then hesitated for a moment before deleting it. He did not dare to send it out. He was afraid of exposing himself. It was better to send a private message. He found Erlang Shun's chat. Yi Zichen, bro, do you have anything that can increase lifespan? Erlang Shun, how could I have it? Lifespan is only for mortals. For us immortals, our lifespan is eternal. Yi Zichen thought to himself when he saw Erlang Shun's reply, I knew it. However, I have to at least ask who has it. Yi Zichen, then do you know who has it? Erlang Shun. There shouldn't be anyone in the heavenly court who has these. However, the peaches from the Queen Mother of the West's immortal peach garden can increase one's lifespan. If you really want it, Monkey should have it. Speaking of peaches, it's definitely him. Yi Zichen, thanks. After exiting Erlang Shin's chat, Yi Zichen directly clicked open his chat with the Monkey King. Yi Zichen, great sage. Monkey King, why are you looking for me, old son? Do you have some good treasures? There is also a row of expectant emojis. Yi Zichen smiled wryly, then tapped the screen. Yi Zichen, this little deity is looking for great sage for a favor. Monkey King, speak. Yi Zichen, I wonder if the great sage has peaches from the Immortality Peach Garden? Silence. Yi Zichen was a bit anxious when a Monkey King suddenly stopped replying. Elder Su needed the peaches of immortality to extend his lifespan. After a long while, the Monkey King finally sent a message over, causing Yi Zichen to be instantly speechless. Monkey King, how did you know that I, old son, have immortality peaches? Could it be that the news of old son stealing peaches was exposed? Damn it, stealing peaches again. In the journey to the west, the Monkey King had stolen peaches from the peach garden. Back then, he didn't think much of it. But as he grew up, the people around him started to tease him. Who was the most lame person in Journey to the West? Answer, Sun Wukong. As for why, He used the body freezing technique to freeze all the fairies in the peach garden, but he didn't do anything and just went in to eat the peaches. Yizichin raised his eyebrows once more. If he could learn the fixed body technique from the great sage, Tisk Tsk, wouldn't that be awesome in the future? No, he was here for the immortality peaches. However, Yizichin couldn't help but ask another question. Yizichin, did a fairy freeze it and steal it again? Monkey King, how did you know? Followed by several horrified emojis. Damn, what a loser. He cursed the Monkey King in his heart. However, this also revealed that the great sage did indeed have peaches of immortality. Yizichin, don't care how this little deity found out. Great sage, can you give this little deity a peach of immortality? Monkey King, old son, didn't steal much. This is a rare item. In other words, he wanted to use his sincerity to make an exchange. Yizichin, great sage, this little deity urgently needs peaches of immortality. As for the items of exchange, I'll send them to the great sage when I get back. Monkey King, then what are you going to give me in exchange? Yizichin, 2 in a row, waha. Monkey King, I also want 2 boxes of instant noodles. Yizichin, deal. Ding dong. As soon as the message was sent, Monkey King sent a red packet over. I poke. You have received the Monkey King's red packet. Peach of Immortality X1. Yizichin clicked on the treasure chest and saw the description of the Peach of Immortality. Peach of Immortality. The 500-year-old Peach of Immortality produced by the Queen Mother of the West's Peach Garden. Effect: extend lifespan. Increase lifespan by 20 years. Yizichin only stopped worrying when he saw this. He had already found something that could increase his lifespan. All that was left was something that could return his soul. After thinking about it, Yizichin still chose to ask the great sage. Yizichin, great sage, do you have anything that can return one's soul? Monkey King, no. If you want this, then you have to find old Lord Taishang. That old brat's 9 reincarnation soul pill is for returning one's soul. However, that old Taoist might not be able to give it to him. Old Lord Taishang. Yizichin sighed in his heart. Actually, he had already thought that old Lord Taishang had something that could return one's soul, but he didn't have old Lord Taishang as a friend. He only added 3 people in the group, Yulao, Erlang Shun, and the Monkey King. What's more, they added him on their own, and their intimacy level was above friendly. If he wanted the 9 reincarnation soul pill, then he had to add old Lord Taishang as a friend. Nobody knew just how intimacy level they were. Yizichin thought about it, then replied to the Monkey King with a message of thanks. The Monkey King then replied with a message telling him to send the treasure over as soon as possible, causing the 2 of them to stop chatting. Yizichin scrolled to the member list of the WeChat group and clicked on old Lord Taishang's profile picture. To add or not to add, that was a question worth thinking about. Yizichin thought about his bet with Su Chihu and Elder Su, who was floating behind him. Yizichin made up his mind. Add. Ding dong. I accepted your friend request. Now we can start chatting. It was accepted. Yizichin immediately took a look at the intimacy level. 0. Cold. Old Lord Taishang. It was just a punctuation mark. Yizichin had never seen such an opening in the deity residence. Yizichin gulped, then mustered up his courage and sent a message. Yizichin, old Lord Taishang, this little deity has a request. Old Lord Taishang. Another F** king question mark. It seems like this old Lord Taishang is rather cold. But when he looked at the intimacy level, it was cold. What do you want him to reply to you? If it was too warm, then it wouldn't be cold. Yizichin, I want to ask old Lord Taishang for a celestial pill. Old Lord Taishang, what pill? Yizichin, 9 reincarnation soul pill. Not replying. Yizichin waited for 10 minutes, but old Lord Taishang didn't reply. It really was, as the Monkey King had said, the pill was definitely rather precious, so old Lord Taishang wasn't willing to give it to him. Yizichin sent another message with the mentality of giving it a try. Yizichin, old Lord, is that okay? Old Lord Taishang, what's your celestial title? Why haven't I heard of you before? It's here. Yizichin's heart raced. That was what he was worried about. Celestial title? How could he have any celestial title? Yi Zichen let out a long sigh, then prepared to say something big. Yi Zichen, I'm Erlang Shin's bro. I'm good friends with you Lao. Old Lord Taishang, oh? Followed by 3 astonished emojis. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Old Lord Taishang increased by 20. Current intimacy level, cold. Mentioning people was useful. It seemed like the heavenly court was pretty much the same as the mortal realm. Mentioning people was good. Everyone was good friends. Seeing that there was a chance, Yi Zichen quickly struck while the iron was hot. Yi Zichen, if Old Lord doesn't believe me, then go and ask. As for the celestial title, it really isn't convenient for this little deity to reveal it. Old Lord Taishang. Oh, 10-odd minutes passed, but Old Lord Taishang still did not reply. Just as Yi Zichen was getting impatient, ding dong. Your intimacy level with Old Lord Taishang increased by 80. Current intimacy level, friendly. Yi Zichen nearly jumped up in excitement when he saw this message. Friendly. According to his experience with these deities, as long as the intimacy level reached friendly, then his fake identity would definitely not be revealed. Chapter 62. White Impermanence wants to add WeChat. Yi Zichen did not immediately go and find Old Lord Taishang after receiving the news of the intimacy level increasing. He would definitely take the initiative to look for him a while. Sure enough, after the intimacy level notification, the other side sent a message every 10 seconds. Old Lord Taishang, fellow Taoist, I chatted with you Lao for a while just now. Look, even his attitude has changed. I just don't know about Old Lord Taishang's 9 reincarnation soul pill. Old Lord Taishang. Of course there are pills, but Yi Zichen, just say whatever you want to say. Old Lord Taishang, I heard that you gave you Lao a box of Yushi. Sure enough, this kind of old man was more interested in these kinds of cigarettes. Yi Zichen, this little deity can use cigarettes to exchange for a pill with Old Lord. Old Lord Taishang, sure, but I want 5 boxes. 5 boxes. Yi Zichen smiled. This old man was really black-hearted. He had only given you Lao 2 boxes of Yushi in total. However, it didn't matter. She wasn't afraid of him being greedy. She was only afraid that he wouldn't want it. If there was demand, then the deal could be made. Yi Zichen, sure. Old Lord Taishang, send it. Yi Zichen, wait a moment. Yi Zichen let out a long sigh, then put his phone back into his pocket and walked beside Black Impermanence. In the eyes of Black Impermanence, Yi Zichen was definitely a great calamity. Seeing him come over, he immediately cried again. Big brother, what do you want from me? Yi Zichen reached out and grabbed Black Impermanence's arms with a snort. I'm going out for a while. I'm worried about leaving you here. How about this? You come with me. Outside the operating room, the Su family and the hospital's experts were waiting outside. If Yi Zichen could really save Elder Su, then it would be a miracle in the medical world. Although they didn't think Yi Zichen would succeed, they still looked forward to hearing good news. Creak. The door to the operation room opened. Yi Zichen grabbed the air in front of him with his right hand and walked out. Yezi, how is it? Su Yun was the first to rush over. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows when he saw everyone's expressions. I need 5 packs of cigarettes. I'll go buy it right away. I also need a juicer and a cup. I'll buy them all for you. With that, Su Yun ran out of the operating room. Yi Zichen maintained the gesture of grabbing at the air with his right hand, then closed his eyes and rested. Kid, what kind of trick are you playing? Su Chihu walked over with a glare. Yi Zichen opened his eyes and raised his eyebrows. Don't worry about what I'm up to. It's fine as long as I can save people. Save someone. Could it be that the things he asked for just now were used to save people? All the doctors outside were dumbfounded. They had been practicing medicine for so many years, but they had never heard of saving lives that required cigarettes and juicers. A strange look flashed across Zhang Cheng's eyes as he asked suspiciously, Young man, are you sure you're not joking? Actually, Yi Zichen had a pretty good impression of Deng Cheng. Deng Cheng didn't have the arrogance of those top players, and he was very kind. Yi Zichen nodded at him with a smile. Of course I'm not joking. It's just that my treatment method is a little different from yours. Zhang Cheng nodded and didn't ask any further. Meanwhile, Suyin bit her lips as she stood nearby and fixed her gaze on Yi Zichen. At that moment, her feelings towards Yi Zichen were indescribable. Gratitude, admiration, She wasn't sure either. In less than half an hour, Su Iyun hurried back with the juicer and a zhonghua. Easy. He handed the things Yi Zichen needed to Su Iyun's hands and looked into Su Iyun's eyes, which were filled with anticipation. Yi Zichen smiled softly. I can definitely save the old man. Bang! The door to the operation room closed once again. Yi Zichen casually chucked black impermanence into a corner, then opened the cigarette, scanned it, then sent it over to old Lord Taishang. Ding dong. Old Lord Taishang received your red packet. Ding dong. You received old Lord Taishang's red packet. 9 Reincarnation Soul Pill X1. Old Lord Taishang was a trustworthy person, so he immediately sent the pill over after receiving Yi Zichen's red packet. Yi Zichen, thank you, old Lord Taishang. Old Lord Taishang, there's no need to thank me. It's just a transaction. Old Lord Taishang was very rational. Yi Zichen looked at the intimacy level that didn't change. It seems like increasing my intimacy level with old Lord Taishang isn't that easy. The 3 pure ones are indeed the 3 pure ones. However, that didn't matter. It was fine as long as he got the pill. Yi Zichen opened the WeChat treasure chest and retrieved the peach of immortality and the 9 reincarnation soul pill. A large peach that was equivalent to 7 or 8 honey peaches and a pitch-black pill instantly appeared in Yi Zichen's hands. Lil Yi this? Elder Su was a bit confused. On the other hand, Lu Jing didn't find it strange at all. She was pretty much the same as Elder Su when she saw this scene for the first time. Elder Su, this is my secret. I hope you won't tell anyone else. Yi Zichen's eyes were solemn. Elder Su nodded. This old man knows what I should say and what I shouldn't say. This old man knows what I should say and what I shouldn't say. Hearing Elder Su's confirmation, Yi Zichen finally stopped worrying. Then let's begin the soul return. Yi Zichen first placed the 9 reincarnation soul pill into Elder Su's mouth to summon his soul, then squeezed the peach of immortality into juice for Elder Su to drink. 10 odd minutes later, the door to the operation room was pushed open, and Yi Zichen walked out with a tired look. Under everyone's hopeful gazes, he walked in front of Su Chi-hu and stared straight into his eyes. Don't forget our promise. Boom. Everyone outside the operation room rushed into the operation room. Only Su Yin stayed on the spot as tears flowed uncontrollably down her face. Yi Zichen, thank you. It was already past midnight when Yi Zichen left the hospital, so there were much fewer cars on streets. Yi Zichen strolled on the streets alone, while the streetlights behind him elongated his shadow. Yi Zichen, that guy seems to be following us. Lu Jing, who was on the side, twitched her mouth. Yi Zichen turned around and saw white impermanence following behind him. You need something? Yi Zichen stopped. White impermanence waved her sleeves helplessly, seemingly trying to express something. Just say what you want. White impermanence was rather pitiful from Yi Zichen's point of view. She had a husband who liked to fool around outside, yet she didn't dare to say anything and had to endure domestic violence. Yi Zichen didn't know if the underworld had a marriage law. If it was in their place, they would directly sue black impermanence. White impermanence hesitated for a long time, then slowly walked towards Yi Zichen. Can I add you on WeChat? Suddenly, a phone appeared in white impermanence's hands. Yi Zichen subconsciously glanced at it. A knockoff phone. Yi Zichen smiled in realization when he saw that. So the heavenly court and the underworld also used phones. Chapter 63. Tai Bai Jinxing comes to his door. Yi Zichen, I want to add you on WeChat. Lu Jing, who was above him, shouted. Only then did Yi Zichen react. Sorry, I was distracted just now. Yi Zichen smiled after adding white impermanence as a friend on WeChat. In the future, when you're with black impermanence, be more assertive. If he dares to bully you again, just send me a WeChat message and see how I deal with him. Yes. With that, white impermanence disappeared in front of Yi Zichen. After a while, his phone rang. It was a message from white impermanence. White impermanence. Thanks. Hey, you're really good at picking up girls. It's fine if it's just a human, but you didn't even let off a ghost. Hearing that, Yi Zichen couldn't help but chuckle. What's wrong with me? Flirting with her? If I really want to flirt with a ghost, I should flirt with you. She's cute, and she's by my side every day. Bah, who needs your flirting? With that, Lu Jing dived into the dragon eye. Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile, then took out the dragon eye from his pocket with a playful smile. Aren't you a ghost? The next morning, after Yi Zichen washed up, he opened his phone and saw that it was filled with messages of thanks from Su Yun, especially when there was a payment notification in the middle. It was 2 million. Needless to say, only Su Yun's father could afford to spend so much. Actually, Yi Zichen had a bit of selfishness in choosing to save Elder Su. He didn't expect the other party to give him such a big red packet. He felt a little guilty. Ding dong. Your eyes of fire and gold, Tier 1. Trial period has 72 hours remaining. What the hell? Yi Zichen's head buzzed when he saw the notification on WeChat. Eyes of fire and gold trial time. Could you stop messing around? He was only able to stand because of his eyes of fire and gold. Didn't the great sage say that it was a trial? How did it become a trial all of a sudden? And what's more, there's only 3 days left. Ding dong. Tai Bai Jinxing found you in the chat group. Yi Zichen was instantly stunned. What is Tai Bai Jinxing doing in the group chat? Yi Zichen opened the WeChat group and saw that it had exploded. Erlang Shun, Monkey King, Yu Lao, and the others appeared one after another. Canopy Marshal, God of Thunder, Mother of Lightning, and Immortality Peach Fairy also began to spectate. Erlang Shun, Old man, why did you mention my bro? Monkey King, Old man, why did you mention my good friend? Erlang Shun, Monkey King, is my brother your friend? Monkey King, Erlang Shun, you said that my good friend is your brother. Rip. The two of them started arguing, but when Yi Zichen saw the message Tai Bai Jinxing sent after at him, his heart turned cold. Tai Bai Jinxing, idealism, add me as a friend. Yi Zichen did not react to the message for a long time. I didn't do anything. Why did this geezer ask me to add him as a friend? Ever since he entered the group, he had always been a standard lurker. There was only that one time where he had an impulsive conflict with Erlang Shun, and in the end, they even turned hostility into friendship and became sworn brothers. Why? At that moment, Tai Bai Jinxing Yi Zichen once again. Damn, could it be that he had been exposed? A blessing, not a curse, Carl. I have accepted your friend request. Now we can chat. The first thing Yi Zichen looked at was the intimacy level. 100. Friendly. Oh, how friendly. Yi Zichen instantly laughed. At the same time, Tai Bai Jinxing also sent him a message. Tai Bai Jinxing, do you know why I was looking for you? Yi Zichen, this little deity does not know. Tai Bai Jinxing, are you sure you are Xiao Xian? It was followed by several smiley emojis. Yi Zichen's hand trembled as he held the phone, causing him to nearly throw it away. Tai Bai Jinxing knew that he was not from the heavenly court. Yi Zichen, I don't understand great deity Tai Bai's words. Tai Bai Jinxing, stop pretending. I know who you are. Yi Zichen's heart instantly turned cold. This geezer actually knows his identity. Then what was the point of looking for him? Should he just kick him out of the group? But if that was the case, there was no need for him to add him as a friend. He could just kick them out. What's more, their intimacy level was friendly. Tai Bai Jinxing, don't worry, I won't do anything to you. Have you forgotten how you came to this group? I was the one who invited you in. Yi Zichen was stunned when he saw the message, then carefully recalled the situation when he first entered the group. It seemed like he was really invited into this group by Tai Bai Jinxing. Yi Zichen, what do you want? Tai Bai Jinxing. Hee 3 smiley emojis. You added the ghost servant of the underworld as a friend on WeChat yesterday, right? Yi Zichen, I did. Tai Bai Jinxing, I'll give you a mission. If you accept it, then I won't kick you out of the group. I'll even give you a celestial name so that you can be like a fish in water in the group. How about it? To be honest, Yi Zichen had already suspected why he entered this group. He randomly joined a deity's group and snatched red packets from a deity. This was definitely a pie falling from the sky. Such a huge pie could smash someone to death. He felt like there was a trap from the start. Fine, there really was a F***king trap. Yi Zichen, great deity Tai Bai. I'm just a mortal, what can I do? Tai Bai Jinxing. It seems like you don't understand your situation too well. But no matter, you will slowly understand in the future. What did that mean? What? Could he be saying that he was the reincarnation of a deity? Isn't that bullshit? At that moment, Tai Bai Jinxing sent another message. Tai Bai Jinxing, do you accept it or not? Just say it. I'm very busy right now. Yi Zichen licked his lips. Even if he knew that this pie was followed by a huge trap, he wasn't willing to give up on it so easily. Yi Zichen, what is it? Tai Bai Jinxing, infiltrate into the underworld. If the underworld does anything, tell me anytime. Spy. Yi Zichen instantly understood. This geezer wanted him to be a spy. He thought about it carefully. He really didn't see anyone from the underworld in the Heavenly Court's group. Could the underworld and the Heavenly Court have fallen out? No wonder Tai Bai Jinxing asked him if he added a ghost servant as a friend. It seemed like he had planned all of this. Yi Zichen, then what do I get out of it? Tai Bai Jinxing, you're immortal. Isn't it good for you to be able to snatch red packets and earn treasures in the Heavenly Court and the underworld? This cunning old fox. But very quickly, he sent another message. Tai Bai Jinxing, of course, I can't let you do it for nothing. How about it? Do you accept it? Yi Zichen thought about it. He told him to infiltrate into the underworld and become a spy. During this period of time, he would be able to chat openly in the Heavenly Courts group, add him as a friend, and increase their friendship level. This seems to be a profitable deal. As for the danger, he still hadn't thought about it. However, if he really sensed danger, then he could just directly retreat. By then, he would have earned a lot. Who cares about some bullshit deity? Yi Zichen clenched his teeth and directly replied to Tai Bai Jinxing. Chapter 64. Taba Shop Tai Bai Jinxing. This old man is definitely an old fox in the Heavenly Court. He completely grasped Yi Zichen's thoughts. Under threat and temptation, Yi Zichen's acceptance wasn't unexpected at all. Tai Bai Jinxing. Since you've accepted it, we've come to an agreement. Ding dong. As soon as the message arrived, it was followed by a big red packet. You have received Tai Bai Jinxing's red packet. Immortal name, 1365 Immortal Plate. Heavenly Venerable Nameless. Cultivation experience. 0. Level 1 Immortal Official. Residence. Number 137. Willow Rock Circle, 37th Heaven. Tai Bai Jinxing. This will be your identity in the group from now on. Nameless Tianzuan. Let me tell you, the 37th Heaven is a place where only great immortals can live. You have to make good use of your identity. Tai Bai Jinxing's words were rather strange, but to be honest, Yi Zichen merely twitched his mouth. So what if they got him to the 99th layer of heaven to live with the Jade Emperor and Queen Mother? How could a mere mortal like him really go up there? To put it bluntly, dogs were useless. Yi Zichen, you might as well give me something more practical. Tai Bai Jinxing, wait. Ding dong. Another red packet appeared on his phone. Yi Zichen quickly clicked it open. You have received Tai Bai Jinxing's red packet. Cultivation experience X 3000. Pooh. Yi Zichen nearly coughed up blood. What the hell was this? Perhaps cultivation experience was useful to those immortals, but it had nothing to do with him. Yi Zichen, can you give me something useful? Tai Bai Jinxing, don't be greedy. If your cultivation is high, you can be promoted to an official position in the Heavenly Court. Moreover, this Tao experience is extremely useful to you, so you should research it yourself. Yi Zichen, Tai Bai Jinxing, don't be speechless. In the future, you will beg me to give you cultivation experience. Remember to enter the Hell Group chat as soon as possible. Tai Bai Jinxing hid himself irresponsibly, causing Yi Zichen to feel helpless. Sighing, he opened the celestial plate in his treasure chest. Immortal plate, nameless Heavenly Venerable, 3000 cultivation experience, level 3 Immortal Official. What's the use of that? Yi Zichen really didn't want to retort. So what if he became a level 100 Immortal Official? Immortality? Immortality? Or could he really ascend to become an immortal and fly to the Heavenly Court? Even if he could, he wouldn't want to go. Just as he was about to close WeChat, he noticed that there was a new function bar next to his treasure chest. Treasure Shop. Yi Zichen clicked open the treasure shop in curiosity, then stood up from the chair. He understood. This cultivation was of great use to him. There were more than a dozen pages of dazzling goods on display. Behind them were the cultivation points needed to exchange for them. He clicked on the item category. Third Prince, Neza's love letter. Evidence of the Bull Demon King's affair. Literati Star's report card. What was even more terrifying was there was also Fairy Chong, Yi's underwear here. These items did not seem to have any practical uses, but the required exchange value was astronomical. Material items. Heavenly Dog Biscuit. The vegetation of the Heavenly Court. The vegetables of the Heavenly Courts. Everything was branded with the Heavenly Courts logo, so the exchange value was relatively low. There were at least dozens of them, and at most hundreds of them. With his current cultivation, it was acceptable. Then, he clicked on the manual section. Secret Scripture for the Fiery Eyes of Truth, Level 1. Exchange value, 1 million cultivation experience. You can purchase a Level 2 Secret Scripture after purchasing it. Secret Scripture for the Body Freezing Technique, Level 1. Exchange value, 1 million cultivation experience. You can purchase a Level 2 Secret Scripture after purchasing it. Secret Scripture for the 72 Transformations, Level 1. Old Lord Taishan's Special Medical Canon, Volume 1. Literati Star's Retentive Memory. Cunning Old Fox. Yi Zichen couldn't help but curse. There was no need to guess, his fiery eyes of truth was definitely destroyed by that old thing. Then, he made a pile of crappy secret scriptures for him to exchange for. Truly amazing. Yi Zichen felt a bit of admiration for that geezer, Tai-Bai jinxing. Ding dong. Your fiery eyes of truth, Level 1. Trial time remaining, 71 hours. The system notified once again. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. You want to take back my fiery eyes of truth? Then I'll use it enough first. During these 3 days, Yi Zichen swept through countless auctions with Xiao Yumei. Due to the large number of purchases, he even took several hundred million from Xiao Hai. However, even though Yi Zichen bought so many stones, he didn't lose a single one of them. From then on, Yi Zichen gained a new title in the circle. Stone God Yi Zichen. Ding dong. Your eyes of fire and gold trial time is up. The secret skill will be withdrawn. Only then did Yi Zichen relax. He hadn't wasted those 70 hours of fiery eyes of truth. He glanced at Xiao Yumei. To be honest, although Xiao Yumei was a flirtatious woman, she was definitely a strong woman when it came to work. For the next 3 days, she followed Yi Zichen to buy stones. Yi Zichen was so tired, but she didn't seem tired at all. Zichen, where to next? No, we have enough jade in our hands. Let's leave some opportunities for others. Yi Zichen sighed helplessly. Seeing his tired look, Xiao Yumei pecked his lips. You've worked hard. Go back and rest. Then what about you? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. However, Xiao Yumei pursed her lips in excitement. I have to process all of those jades as soon as possible. With these jades, our jewelry store can definitely expand several times. Yi Zichen shook his head with a helpless smile. You've been tired out these few days as well. Just have a good rest. What's more, you don't need to personally supervise the processing of the jades, right? Xiao Yumei hooked her arm around Yi Zichen's neck and smiled. I'll send you back to rest. As for me, just don't worry about me, okay? Yi Zichen could only sigh helplessly and nod in agreement. After sending Yi Zichen to the entrance of the mansion's district, Xiao Yumei hurriedly drove away. Yi Zichen rubbed his throbbing temples, then his phone rang. Yi Zichen couldn't help but smile wryly when he saw the caller ID. It seems like I won't be able to rest. Half an hour later, at a family restaurant, Su Yiyun had wanted to take Yi Zichen to a larger clubhouse to play, but Yi Zichen didn't have the mood to play in his current state, so they found a small restaurant to sit down. Yi Zi, thank you so much for my grandpa's matter. Su Yiyun held up his beer glass. Yi Zichen raised his glass and clinked it with him, then shrugged. It was nothing. It's nothing. How's Elder Su doing recently? Don't mention it, his body is great. Oh yeah, my grandpa also said that he's going to treat us to a meal later. Don't reject it then. No, but you. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance. Your brother and sister with the goddess, Su Yin. You hit it really well. Ha ha! Su Yin laughed out loud. Then, his gaze stopped and he raised his eyebrows. Chapter 65. A reincarnated deity? Someone that Su Yun, a young master who only went to school a few times a week, felt familiar was definitely a beauty on the level of a school beauty. Yi Zichen was stunned when he heard the voice. Sun Yaich. Boss son, it's time to pay. A few delinquent-looking youths, led by a non-mainstream red-haired guy with a few piercings, stood outside the restaurant. From his tone, it seemed like he was here to collect protection fees. Yang Ji, didn't we just pay last week? A middle-aged man wearing an apron beside Sun Yaij could be seen with a single glance that he was an honest person. Hey, I was the one who collected the money last week. The red-haired guy raised his eyebrows and said with annoyance in his eyes, Hurry up and pay up. You've already collected it. I still have to go collect the next one. Our family just paid last week. Why are you guys asking for it again? This is too much. Sun Yaij couldn't help but speak up on the side. With her timid and introverted personality, it could be seen just how much courage it took for her to say something like that in front of these delinquents. Is an older brother doting on you? Otherwise, I wouldn't be coming here all the time. How about this, you and older brother? The red-haired guy reached out his hand with a lecherous gaze and grabbed towards Sun Yaij's chin. Bang! Before his hand even touched Sun Yaij, the red-haired guy was kicked in the stomach, causing him to directly sit on the ground. If you want to dote on someone, go home and dote on your mom. Yi Zichen, why are you here? Sun Yaij's eyes were filled with surprise. When the lackeys behind the red-haired guy saw that their boss was beaten up, they immediately waved their hands and wanted to charge forward. All of you, King, stop. The red-haired guy, who was sitting on the ground, cursed, causing the lackeys to instantly stop. Yi young master Yi. The red-haired guy walked over with a bow. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then glanced at him with his hands in his pockets. You know me? Young master Yi, I was there when you were teaching the baldy guy at the barbecue shop. When Red first said this, his forehead began to be covered with fine beads of sweat. The baldy guy could be said to be someone important in their circle, but what happened in the end? Yi Zichen broke all 4 of his limbs. He was just a henchman under his big brother. He was nothing compared to someone like young Master Yi. Yi Zichen nodded, then glanced at Red Hair. Do you know what to do now? Young Master Yi, I work for Brother Da. Can you do me a favor? Red Hair gulped. Hearing that, Yi Zichen frowned impatiently. Don't mention people to me. No one is useful in front of me. Do you want to do it yourself, or do you want me to do it? I'll do it myself, young Master Yi. I'll do it myself. Redhead clenched his teeth, placed his arm on the ground, and shouted to his lackey. Fight, big brother. I'll let you. The red-haired man had a ferocious glint in his eyes. The lackey beside him picked up a baseball bat and smashed it down on his arm. Crack! A muffled groan sounded from the red-haired man's mouth. After a while, the red-haired man stood up and forced a smile. Young Master Yi, are you satisfied? CK off. This shop is not allowed to collect protection fees in the future. After hearing this, the red-haired man felt as if he had been pardoned from a great crime. He brought his subordinates and fled. The Sun family's father and daughter were completely stunned. At the same time, Yi Zichen smiled towards them, then returned to Su Yun's table. Yi Zi, saving the damsel in distress in front of me isn't too good. As soon as she returned to her table, Su Yun teased her playfully. Yi Zichen smiled helplessly at him. That's our class monitor, Sun Yaich. I'm just lending a hand. How did I become a hero saving a damsel in distress? Sun Yaich, is she one of the 4 campus belles like my sister? Yi Zichen nodded. Su Yun smiled in understanding. You're right. No wonder. I was wondering why he looked so familiar. Show off. Yi Zichen laughed. At that moment, Sun Yaij walked over to their table and brought them a plate of food. This is for my father. He didn't expect that this shop belonged to Squad Leader Sun's family. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. The campus network had already mentioned that Class Rep Sun was the only commoner among the 4 campus belles. He didn't think that it was true. Su Yun winked when he saw Sun Yaij walk over. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at him in annoyance, then stood up to receive the dish. Thank you, Class Rep Sunday. You're welcome. Sun Yaij blushed and replied carefully. Sun Yaij's face turned red as she carefully replied. I should be the one thanking you. Thank you for helping us chase that person away. That kind of person only bullies the weak and fears the strong. If you smashed a wine bottle on his head just now, let's see if he would dare to come over and ask for protection money next time. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. Hearing that, Sun Yij immediately shook her head. That's no good. You have to pay for injuring someone. Yi Zichen was not surprised by Sun Yij's reply at all. She would indeed have such thoughts with her timid personality. Thinking about it, Yi Zichen didn't continue to instill perverted thoughts in her. He shrugged, then all right. Uh-huh. Sun Yij blushed and continuously rubbed the corner of her clothes. Oh yeah, I haven't seen you in class recently. Well, I'm a bit busy these 2 days. I'll definitely go back to class tomorrow. All right, then you guys chat. I'm leaving. Take care. Class reps Sunday. Yi Zichen waved towards Sun Yij and sat down on the chair. As soon as he sat down, Su Iyun whistled at him. This school beauty Sun is really not bad. Don't have any bad thoughts towards people. She's not from the same world as you. Yi Zichen placed the dishes onto the table and said, Hurry up and eat. I've been as tired as a dog these few days. I want to hurry back and sleep. Under Yi Zichen's urging, the two of them ate for 10-odd minutes before leaving the shop. Sun Yij, who had been helping out in the shop, twitched her lips as she watched the two of them leave. She took out a pen from her pocket and wrote Yi Zichen's name on a notebook. Yi Zichen was truly exhausted from the past few days. After returning to the mansion, he chatted a bit with Yi Rong, then returned to his room to sleep. A silent night passed. Yi Zichen, hurry up and wake up. Yi Zichen heard someone call him beside his ear while he was in a daze. The familiar tone caused him to be a bit speechless. Lu Jing. This ancestor started to mess with him again early in the morning. Just when Yi Zichen wanted to discuss with her about sleeping for another half an hour, he suddenly sat up on the bed. Wait, didn't he already put away the fiery eyes of truth? When Yi Zichen opened his eyes, he saw Lu Jing floating in front of him with an angry expression as she cursed with her hands on her waist. You still know to get up? Do you know what time it is? Yi Zichen rubbed his eyes. I can see. He rubbed them again. I really can see. Gulp. Yi Zichen felt a bit frantic. For some reason, he recalled what Tai Bai Jinxing had said to him. It seems like you don't understand your situation too well. But no matter, you will slowly understand in the future. Chapter 66. The truth is about to be revealed. Yi Zichen was a bit confused as he looked at the passing students. He did take away the fiery eyes of truth, that was without a doubt. In order to prove it, Yi Zichen intentionally stared at the passing students. He could no longer see the various underwear that he could see before. When he looked up, he could indeed still see Lu Jing. I'm possessed, Yi Zichen thought to himself. At this moment, Lu Jing also floated in front of him and twitched her mouth. Why have you been looking at me like that since the morning? No way. How can you still talk to me? Then why can't I talk to you? Lu Jing rolled her eyes. Yi Zichen rubbed his temples. Seriously, Yi Zichen. A gentle voice sounded out from behind him. Yi Zichen turned around and saw Sun Yij standing behind him with a smile. Yi Zichen gave Lu Jing a glance to tell her to float up, then raised his eyebrows towards Sun Yij with a smile. Class Rep Sunday, thank you so much for yesterday. Sun Yij lowered her head and bit her lips in thanks. Hearing that, Yi Zichen shrugged helplessly. Class Rep Sun, no need to be so courteous. Have you seen Water Margin? Just roar when you see injustice, and make a move when you need to. Just treat me as the hero of Liangshan. Ugh. With that, Sun Yij couldn't help but smile. That smile was like a lotus that had just bloomed in a pond. It was extremely beautiful, yet also inviolable. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen was stunned. That smile kept appearing in his mind. It was a smile that could save people, and it might linger in his heart for the rest of his life. Yi Zichen, Lu Jing, who was in midair, suddenly floated beside his ear and roared like a lion cub. That roar basically brought Yi Zichen's soul back. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes towards Lu Jing, then said with a blush, the school anniversary is about to arrive. You haven't been in school for the past few days, the program hasn't been decided, and there's no rehearsal either. I'll just sing a song. Sure, I'm going to rehearse now. Do you want to come? Then let's go. School beauties were always the harvester of the school's gazes. When Yi Zichen walked with Sun Yij, he once again enjoyed the envious gazes of everyone. Thinking about it carefully, it seemed that 3 of the 4 campus bells had been in the same frame with him. Leaving only one, he heard that she was a third-year senior. It seemed like she didn't have much of a chance. There were quite a lot of people at the rehearsal venue. If they wanted to go on stage, they would have to wait for the people on stage to leave before they could go on stage. Izichin looked at the people in front of him, then sat on a chair in the resting area. Right. What song are you going to sing? After that. All right, I understand. Sun Yij nodded with a smile and left, while Yi Zichin sat on a chair in the backstage resting area and closed his eyes to rest. Hey! Yi Zichin looked up and opened his eyes. When he saw the person in front of him, he twitched his mouth in disdain, then closed his eyes again. Yi Zichin, I'm calling you. Yi Zichin raised his hand and sighed, then crossed his legs and leaned back in his chair like a boss. Young Master Fu, I heard you signed up for the school anniversary gala. Fu Qingming asked indifferently. As a member of the student council, it wasn't surprising that Yi Zichin knew that Yi Zichin signed up for the gala. Yi Zichin shrugged and raised his eyebrows. Yeah, what instructions does young Master Fu have? Oh yeah, I've been looking for you these few days. The other day, I threw you naked in the park and enjoyed the school headlines and the morning papers. It felt pretty good, right? I just heard that the morning papers censored it. Otherwise, wouldn't young Master Fu have become an internet celebrity? Fu Qingming's expression instantly darkened, while he clenched his fists so hard that they cracked. Yi Zichin maintained a smile on his face. To be honest, he was actually rather petty. Fu Qingming kept biting at him. If he was too polite, then wouldn't it seem like he was too cowardly? What is young Master Fu doing? You want to hit me? Then come, hit me? Yi Zichin moved his face over shamelessly. At that moment, someone from the student council called his name. Only then did Fu Qingming snort with a dark expression. Yi Zichin, don't be too cocky. We have plenty of time in the future. The resting area finally quietened down. Yi Zichin had wanted to rest a bit more, but Lu Jing popped up again. Who is he? A love rival? Why are you still so gossipy after turning into a ghost? Yi Zichin frowned speechlessly. Lu Jing smiled. I'm just curious. The thick smell of gunpowder just now. Z's, he's definitely a love rival. Fine, I'm scared of you. Approximately an hour later, it was Yi Zichin's turn to rehearse. Yi Zichin's simple later caused everyone in the venue to turn silent. However, after a brief silence, thunderous applause sounded out. Yi Zichin, I didn't think that your singing would be so good. Sun Yij spoke up excitedly after returning to the backstage. Yi Zichin smiled non-committally, but there was a hint of sadness in his expression. Yi Zichin wasn't completely useless without the WeChat group. Yes, he did sing very well. He could control his emotions very well, allowing anyone who heard his songs to be immersed in it. Actually, a long time ago, he did want to apply to a music academy. However, there were always ups and downs in life, right? Buzz, the phone in Yi Zichin's pocket suddenly rang. He placed the phone by his ear. Not long later, he hung up the phone again. Class rep Sun, if there isn't anything else, then I'll be leaving first. Sure, Sun Yij nodded and smiled. I look forward to your performance at the school anniversary the day after tomorrow. Yi Zichin nodded towards Sun Yij, then ran away as fast as he could. Hey, what happened? Why are you in such a hurry? Lu Jing sat in the front seat of Yi Zichin's car with a confused expression. Yi Zichin licked his lips and said, Commissioner Lu's wife suddenly fainted. What? Lu Jing, who sat in the front seat, screamed, while a hint of terror appeared in her eyes. Then why aren't you hurry up? You want me to pay more? Yi Zichin looked at the speedometer. The speed limit was 60, but he had already driven it to 80. I told you to treat her a long time ago. This is great. If anything really happens to her, I won't let you off. Lu Jing clasped her hands together. Yi Zichin squinted his eyes and didn't reply. However, the thoughts in his mind were extremely complicated. Why would Lu Jing care so much about Commissioner Lu's wife's condition? Lu Jing was also like that when Yi Zichin mentioned Commissioner Lu's heart disease. A thought surfaced in Yi Zichin's mind. However, he quickly suppressed it. If everything was really as he thought, then the problem was serious. Phew! Yi Zichin let out a long sigh, then stepped on the gas once again. Chapter 67. Commandeering Your Car. When Yi Zichen arrived at Chief Lu's house, Chief Lu's wife, Bai Yi, had already woken up. Lu, I'm really sorry for troubling you to come all the way here. Yi Zichen sat on the sofa in the living room, while Chief Lu smiled apologetically. At the same time, Bai Yi also brought them some fruits. Xiao Yi, thank you for saving my old Lu. Sister-in-law, you're too polite. However, the moment he looked up and saw Bai Yi, Zichen felt a chill down his spine. Bai looked young, and the passage of time didn't leave any traces on her face. However, one could tell from her eyes that she had a lot on her mind. It was so heavy that it could crush her whole body. But what truly agitated him was her and Lu Jing. They were exactly the same. He turned his head and widened his eyes. Beside him, Lu Jing tightly pursed her lips. From her eyes, one could see the emotion she wanted to express but was trying to hide. Little Yi. Only then did Yi Zichen come back to his senses and suppress the shock in his heart. He took out the Great Recover pill from his pocket and placed it on the table. When Chief Lu saw the jade bottle, he quickly waved his hand. Little Yi, this is too expensive. Brother Lu, if you don't accept it, then you're looking down on my little brother. All right. Yi Zichen didn't know much about medicine, so the only thing he could do was give a Great Recovery pill. Yi Zichen sighed before leaving Commissioner Lu's place. Brother Lu, sister-in-law, is obviously sick from worrying. The Great Recover pill can indeed cure illnesses, but it can't cure mental illness. If you have time, you should bring sister-in-law to see a psychiatrist. Oh, okay. Speaking of this, Chief Lu's mood also became dispirited. Yi Zichen nodded, then signaled Commissioner Lu that there was no need to send him off, before returning to the car. Bang! Yi Zichen slammed the car, door shut, and locked it, then looked towards Lu Qing with a frown. Tell me the truth. What's your relationship with Brother Lu? Lu Jing and Bai Yi were practically carved from the same mold. Yi Zichen even saw a photo of Chief Lu's family in the living room. The girl in the center of the group photo was Lu Jing. They're my parents. Dong. Yi Zichen leaned weakly against the back of the car seat and shook his head, then rolled down the window to light a cigarette for himself. Hey, why are you doing this? Lu Jing grabbed his arm when she saw Yi Zichen's expression. Yi Zichen really didn't know what to do. Indeed, when he brought Lu Jing back, he had already prepared himself for the trouble that would follow. But this, the daughter of the city bureau chief, this was a little beyond what he could accept. Yi Zichen was a bit of a hero, but no matter what, he was still a normal citizen. Yi Zichen scratched his head, then chucked the cigarette out of the car window and laid on the seat for a long time. Lu Qing, I really couldn't tell. What happened? Lu Jing looked at him nervously. However, Yi Zichen, who had a solemn expression the entire time, suddenly smiled, then reached out his hand to rub her hair. If I save you and take revenge, how much benefit do you think the director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau will give me? Lu Jing suddenly froze when she saw the smile on Yi Zichen's face. She clearly understood just how heavy of a promise those words contained. She pursed her lips and didn't say anything for a long time. Yi Zichen caressed her head once again. All right, don't worry, I won't regret it. Yi Zichen slowly started the car, while maintaining a warm smile on his face. Lu Jing, who sat in the front passenger seat, stared blankly at the smiling Yi Zichen. She felt a lot of weird feelings in her heart, but more than that, she felt a sense of helplessness. If she was still alive, then she might really fall in love with him. Yi Zichen's thoughts were also very complicated as he drove. He did have the thought of giving up at the start. This level wasn't something he could manage. However, he still couldn't bear to. Yi Zichen had wanted to go over to her place after calling Xiao Yumei, but this strong woman's still at the factory at home caused him to be locked at the door. Bang bang. Yi Zichen, who was thinking about what to do, suddenly heard someone knock on the car window. Yi Zichen rolled down the car window and raised his eyebrows. Officer Lin, what is it? I didn't do anything. Open the door. Open the door. Officer Lin's tone was filled with anxiousness. Yi Zichen looked at her, then tilted his head. Why should I open the door? Click. Before Yi Zichen finished, Officer Lin directly reached into the car and opened the door. From now on, I'm going to commandeer this car. Give me the car keys. Commandeer, this is a mission? Yizichin raised his eyebrows and thought about how this idiotic woman had gone against him before. No, commandeer someone else's car. My car is so expensive. I don't have time to bullshit with you. Slap. Officer Lin directly grabbed Yizichin out of the car and sat him down. Yizichin glared at her, then quickly walked over to the front passenger seat, opened the door, and sat down. Get off. This is my car. Why are you telling me to get off? Even if you're a police officer, can you just casually take a car? This is robbery. All right, then you can sit down. Zoom. She stepped on the accelerator, causing Yizichin to directly bump into the back of the seat due to the inertia. He opened his mouth to curse, but when he saw the scenery that continuously flashed past him, he subconsciously glanced at the speedometer. 200. Are you crazy? How the F*** is this driving a car? This is completely piloting a plane. Don't disturb me. You also know how fast this is, right? If I get distracted and am slightly careless, then the two of us will die together. Officer Lin's tone carried a hint of threat. Hearing that, Yizichin instantly sat obediently on the seat and put on his seatbelt. Fine, he was terrified in front of his life. In merely 10-odd minutes, the car had already left the city. Where are you driving me to? We're going to run out of gas. There's no gas station here. All of a sudden, Officer Lin stepped on the brakes. Screech, green smoke rose up from the friction of the tires, while Yizichin nearly hit his head due to the inertia. Is there something wrong with you? Stop bullshitting, just stay here. Unexpectedly, Officer Dowling completely ignored his angry rebuke. She gave him a cold look and took out 2 pistols from her pocket. The pistols were loaded. Then, Officer Lin got off the car. Gulp. Yizichin gulped. He had played with quite a few toy guns before, but when the real thing appeared in front of him, the deterrence was truly strong. Take care, Officer Lin. Yizichin sent Officer Lin off with a coy smile. Seeing her disappear from his sight, Yizichin moved to the driver's seat and was about to drive away. Bang, bang. Gunshots. Yizichin's hand, which was on the car keys, trembled. F***, they're fighting. This is a real-life spy movie. No, I have to hurry up. Yizichin muttered as he trembled. However, not long later, he took his hand off the car keys. Chapter 68. A sense of justice, Holy Mother Mary, Jesus, Amitba, Demesha. Yizichin sat in the car with his hands in front of his chest and muttered as if he was praying. Gunshots continuously rang out. Yizichin's prayer became louder with every gunshot. F***, why am I so unlucky? Why did I follow that stupid girl here? If I knew that there would be a gunfight, then I could have just given the car to her. What made him even more speechless was that he could have run in this sort of situation, but the sense of justice in his heart made him choose to stay. Yizichin, that girl doesn't seem to be able to hold on. Hurry up and drive away. Lu Jing squeezed in through the gap in the window. Yizichin looked up at her. What's wrong? Yizichin looked up at her. What did you say just now? Hurry up and drive away. No, the sentence before. I said that girl isn't going to make it. Lu Jing's face was filled with nervousness. Lu Qing's little face was filled with nervousness as she said, she seems to be fighting with some organization, but there are too many people on the other side. Her aim is indeed very accurate, but she's alone and weak. From the looks of it, she'll definitely be finished soon. The moment Lu Jing finished speaking, Yizichin jumped out of the car, while Lu Jing shouted after him. Lu Jing followed behind him and shouted, "What are you doing?" "Nonsense, of course I'm saving people. Are you crazy? Those people all have guns," Lu Jing shouted. Yizichin took a few deep breaths, then placed his hands in front of his chest and prayed for a while, then gulped and said, "Who cares if they have guns or not? We have to save them. Bring me over." Lu Jing looked at Yizichin's pale face and lips, and his voice trembled when he spoke. It could be seen that he was very afraid in his heart. However, he still chose to go and save them. If it was someone else, they might not understand, but Lu Jing quickly understood. Wasn't he that sort of person? Yizichin hid in the bushes as he slowly moved forward, while Lu Jing floated in midair to lead the way for him. Bang bang. Ta-ta-ta. F***. Yizichin was about to F asterisk King pee his pants when he heard the gunshots. Slap! Yi Zichen raised his hand and slapped himself, then encouraged himself in his heart. Yi Zichen, you're a man. Don't be a coward. As Yi Zichen prayed, he made his way through the weedy wilderness. When he poked his head out from the bushes, holy sh asterisk t, what a spectacular sight. 7 men wielding light machine guns stood not too far away, and with a single sweep, 3 men had already fallen beside them. Yi Zichen looked to the side and noticed Officer Lin's figure behind a wall. Why are you here? Officer Lin was already injured. When Yi Zichen appeared beside her, her body was covered in blood. I'm here to save you. Yi Zichen glared at her. At that moment, Lu Jing suddenly screamed. Yi Zichen, there's a sniper. What? Yi Zichen was stunned. He didn't know where the bullet would come from, so he couldn't react in time. He subconsciously hugged Officer Lin. Humph! Yi Zichen let out a grunt. Yi Zichen! Lu Jing screamed. Yi Zichen couldn't help but smile wryly when he felt the pain in his shoulder. This unbreakable body really can't block hot weapons. The bullet was stuck in Yi Zichen's shoulder blade. He endured the pain in his shoulder, picked up Officer Lin, and ran out. Lu Jing. I know. The two of them had already developed a bit of chemistry after being together for so long. Yi Zichen ran towards the bushes, while the ghost girl, Lu Jing, floated near the bandits and started to cause trouble. The machine guns fired randomly. Yi Zichen also used his potential in the moment of danger. He sprinted out at a speed of 100 meters in 10 seconds while carrying a person. Bang! Yi Zichen closed the door. Officer Lin's entire body was sickly pale due to the loss of blood. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes and cursed when he saw her barely breathing appearance. You're lucky. Yi Zichen opened the WeChat treasure chest and directly chucked the last great recovery pill in her mouth. At the same time, Lu Jing also floated in from the outside and shouted the moment she entered. Hurry up and run. Those guys are catching up. Yi Zichen turned his head and saw that the bandits had already poked their heads out from the bushes and started to fire at his car. Several bandits also walked out from the front of the car and blocked the road. F asterisk CK. I'm going all out. The bullets pierced through the reinforced glass and created a row of holes. Yi Zichen held the steering wheel tightly with both hands. He stepped on the accelerator, then lowered his head and charged towards the bandits in front of him. At the First People's Hospital, Yi Zichen's shoulder was bleeding while he carried Officer Lin, who was barely breathing, in his arms. Doctor, save her. The medical staff hurriedly sent Officer Lin to the emergency room. One of the female doctors stayed behind and frowned. Why is it a gunshot wound? That woman is the captain of the criminal police team, Officer Lin. As for me, before Yi Zichen finished, he felt a wave of dizziness. Then his vision went black as he fell onto the ground. The next day, Yi Zichen's shoulder was bandaged as he laid on the bed and ate an apple leisurely. Not long after Chief Liu and company left, Yi Rong walked in from outside the ward. When she saw Yi Zichen's relaxed look, she couldn't help but curse. You're rather relaxed. Yi Zichen smiled idiotically. Yi Rong was extremely worried when she found out that he was injured. He also knew that he didn't think it through, so he didn't dare to say anything. How is Officer Lin? Her life shouldn't be in danger, but she's still unconscious. Yi Rong sighed, then couldn't help but sigh. Don't get involved in this sort of thing in the future. It's so dangerous. All right, I understand. Yi Zichen smiled idiotically. Yi Rong acted like she couldn't do anything about him, then took the kettle outside to get some water. Yi Zichen laid back down on the bed after finishing the apple. Buzz, the phone beside his pillow rang. Yi Zichen looked at the unknown number on it, then picked it up with a frown. Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen raised the corner of his mouth when he heard the familiar tone and the gentle tone. Class Rep Sunday, it's me. Sun Yai's voice was always so gentle no matter what. What business does Class Rep Sun have with me? Yi Zichen smiled. You haven't come to school these past few days. I just wanted to tell you that today is the school's anniversary celebration. The party starts at 6. Are you still coming? Zoom. Yi Zichen sat up from the bed. He didn't think that it would be the school anniversary so soon. He had to go. He couldn't give up this sort of great chance to show his face in front of the entire school, and he might even be able to pick up a girl. Yes, I'll definitely be there on time. Then I'll wait for you. The moment he hung up the phone, the door to the ward was pushed open. Huang Xingmei walked in wearing a white coat. How's the situation? The school anniversary party was still waving at him. Yi Zichen thought about it, then squinted his eyes with a smile. Chapter 69. Artist selection. The doctor in front of him seemed to be the female doctor he saw when he arrived at the hospital. Hearing that she was going to be discharged, Huang Shengmei's elegant eyebrows immediately furrowed together and angrily rebuked. Nonsense, that's a gunshot wound on your shoulder. The bullet has just been removed, and you want to leave the hospital? Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. Doctor, I'm recovering pretty well, and I don't like this sort of place filled with the smell of disinfectant. Just let me go. Huang Xingmei shook her head and said, No, as your attending physician, I have to be responsible for your body. You can't be discharged in this situation. Yi Zichen was helpless. It was almost 6. If he continued to dawdle like this, then he wouldn't be able to make it for the gala. You're really a doctor. I know my situation the best. Why don't you let me leave the hospital? You black-hearted doctor. Do you want me to stay in the hospital longer and spend more money? Anyway, I said you can't leave the hospital, so you can't leave the hospital. Just lie here, and I'll come back in an hour. Huang Xingmei snorted as she left the ward. Yi Zichen moved his lips toward her back and picked up his phone. 16:32. Yi Zichen chucked his phone to the side, then leaned against the pillow and squinted his eyes. Not long later, he started to laugh. Lu Qing, Lu Qing. Not long after, Lu Jing floated out of the dragon eye and said, What's wrong? Yi Zichen indicated towards the door. Go, and help me keep an eye on the door. If my mom and that doctor, Huang Xingmei, come over, call me. Lu Qing nodded, then floated towards the door. Yi Zichen leaped onto the ground, then quickly put on the clothes in the wardrobe. How is it? They're not outside, are they? Yi Zichen tiptoed over to the door. Lu Jing couldn't help but be shocked when she saw how ready he was. Where are you going? Can't tell. I'm going to break into the courtyard. He poked his head out of the ward and looked around. We didn't see Yi Rong or Huang Xingmei. He ran out. Huang Xingmei, who was in the office, stood by the window and looked downstairs. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen's figure entered her sight. Huang Xingmei opened the window and shouted downstairs. Yi Zichen, who had just reached the entrance of the hospital, subconsciously looked up when he heard the shout. In an instant, their gazes met. He had been discovered. Yi Zichen, come back here. Huang Xingmei shouted from the window in the office. Yi Zichen chuckled, then made a face towards her and waved. Dr. Huang, capture him for me. Huang Xingmei shouted towards the security guards downstairs. The surrounding security guards immediately surrounded Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen shrunk his neck when he saw the covetous eyes of the security guards, then immediately ran away. This guy. When Yi Zichen arrived at Polytechnic University, the school anniversary gala had already begun. The person standing on the stage was Fu Qingming. His performance was a song. The fair-skinned boy's idle face, coupled with his pretty good voice. After the performance, the atmosphere below the stage instantly ushered in a small climax. On the second floor of the auditorium, facing the stage, there was a chair with a man wearing sunglasses sitting on it. Old Hu, how is it? The one who spoke was the principal of the University of Science and Technology, Shirue. The man wearing sunglasses raised his eyebrows and smiled faintly. It's SOSO. Let's wait and see. Bowing deeply, Fu Qingming left the stage. Next is another song. Let's invite our member, Yi Zichen, to sing afterwards! Fu Qingming smiled as he stood in the corner of the stage. Yi Zichen's performance was actually very far towards the back. However, as the vice chairman of the student council and the host of the gala, it was a piece of cake for him to change the position of the performance. He had already gotten the news that the school anniversary gala this time was different from the past ones. There would be artiste companies coming to select artistes through the students' performances. He was very confident in his singing. Coupled with his looks, he was sure to pass the audition. As for arranging Yi Zichen behind him, It was purely because he wanted to use Yi Zichen as a stepping stone for himself. Only with comparison would he be more outstanding. What's more, he could also use this to kill some of Yi Zichen's spirit, so why not? Yi Zichen, I'm coming, I'm coming. Yi Zichen hurriedly rushed out from the backstage with a microphone. However, his reckless manner caused the school leaders on the second floor to frown. Why are you so rash? Young people, it's normal for them to be reckless. The man in sunglasses smiled. The principal of Polytechnic University also smiled, but did not say anything else. Click. The spotlight shone on Yi Zichen's face, causing him to look down the stage. Wow. Riche bro, Riche bro, Riche bro. The students below the stage shouted crazily. Yi Zichen smiled and placed his finger by his lips. Shoo. Everyone turned silent. Not bad. The man in sunglasses on the second floor suddenly said that. Principal Shi was slightly stunned. How is it not bad when Yi Zichen didn't even start singing? Old Shi, you're good at managing the school, but you're still far from being able to judge artistes. This young man is very famous in your school, and his ability to control the crowd isn't weak either. He has potential to be a singer. Snap! Yi Zichen snapped his fingers, causing the music to start. If there were no surprises, Yi Zichen's song definitely had the power to sweep the entire place. Only when he bowed towards the students below and left did thunderous applause sound out. Yi Zichen, Yi Zichen, Yi Zichen. Everyone in the audience shouted Yi Zichen's name in unison, while Fu Chengming, who was below the stage, clenched his fists tightly. He never would have thought that Yi Zichen's song would be so good. Fu Chengming's face was so dark that it could practically drip water when he heard the shouts in the audience. Stepping stone. Just who is whose stepping stone? This brat isn't bad. The man in sunglasses couldn't help but praise. Yi Zichen returned to the backstage under the fervent applause. Actually, due to Yi Zichen being a bit nervous when he was on stage, he did not completely let loose. Unsatisfied, he returned to the chair in the resting area, only to see Sun Yaij standing at the same spot, at a loss of what to do. Her delicate little face was also wrinkled. Class Republic. Yi Zichen raised his hand and clapped. Sun Yaij looked up and revealed a smile. You came. I already finished singing. What do you mean I came? Yi Zichen said helplessly. Finished singing? That shouldn't be. Your performance was clearly after mine. Sun Yaij raised her eyebrows in surprise. Sun Yaij raised her eyebrows in surprise. Hearing that, Yi Zichen was also shocked, but he quickly reacted. It's that grandson, Fu Qingming, messing around again. This grandson doesn't dare to come out in the open. He only knows how to play these dirty tricks. Yi Zichen cursed silently in his heart, but didn't dwell on the problem. When he thought of Sun Yaij's worried expression just now, he couldn't help but ask, what kind of trouble did you get into? Sun Yaij's face instantly frowned and muttered. Chapter 70. Begmino wonders Sun Yaij had that kind of expression. It turned out that the person who sang the duet with her couldn't come. Let me help you. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and smiled. Can I? Sun Yaij's eyes brightened. She actually wanted to ask Yi Zichen for help as well, but she was too shy to say it. Yi Zichen shrugged and smiled. Why not? It's my honor to be on the same stage as class rep Sunday, then I'll have to trouble you. 10 minutes later. Campus bell, Sun. It's your turn. The student council members ran backstage. After Sun Yaij replied, Yi Zichen also took off his headphones. How is it? Have you learned it? It's about time. I definitely won't embarrass you on stage. They walked towards the stage side by side. When Yi Zichen appeared on the stage once again, the entire venue erupted. Yi Zichen, Tyrant bro, I love you. Yi Zichen, I want to be your girlfriend. Yi Zichen couldn't help but rub his nose at the explosive atmosphere. Why do they have to be like this? Didn't they just sing a song? Sun Yaij, who was at the side, was also shocked by this aura. She stood there in a daze for a long time. Wow, you're so popular. Yi Zichen scratched his head in embarrassment. Creak. Fu Qingming, who was holding the script on stage, almost crushed it into a ball of paper. He took the opportunity to look at the posts on the school's website while the host was changing positions. The school forum had already started to post crazily, and all of the posts were about Yi Zichen. Originally, he had been prepared to hire some water armies to slander him after the gala ended, but he didn't expect Yi Zichen to do it again. This was another opportunity for him to be exposed. After all, there were people from the agency watching on the second floor. Why are you here again? Fu Qingming walked over with a frown. What? Can't I come up? Isn't your program over? What's wrong with that? I'm a singer and I have helpers. Can't I be a guest helper? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. This grandson is seriously retarded. He just wants to cause trouble from me everywhere. Enough with you. Just do your job as a host and stay up there. Yi Zichen pushed Fu Qingming to the side, then smiled towards Sun Yaij. Let's go. The song that Sun Yaij chose was Song Ji Xiao and Wu Qichuan's You're Cute. The style of the song was rather sweet. When it came to Yi Zichen's part, he held Sun Yaij's hand. Their eyes met. Plop, plop. Sun Yaij felt like her heart was about to explode. Due to Yi Zichen's sharp gaze, she even made a few mistakes in the middle of the song. In the end, it was Yi Zichen who helped her out. The song was finally over. After Sun Yaij finished, she immediately ran backstage. Yi Zichen stood blankly on the stage. After bowing towards the audience, he prepared to return backstage, but was stopped by the students below the stage. Yi Zichen, give me another. Another one. Another one. Fu Qingming's face was already completely green. He ignored the passionate requests of the students below the stage and walked in front of Yi Zichen with a cold snort. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and go back. Are you on your period? Why are you so rude? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes, then waved towards the students below the stage before walking backstage. At that moment, the man wearing sunglasses on the second floor also took off his sunglasses. His dark eyes revealed a hint of excitement, as if he had found a treasure. Old Sure, get that student to sing another song. Sure. Buzz Fu Qingming's phone, who was standing on the stage, suddenly rang. When he saw the caller ID, he quickly told the other host beside him, then walked backstage. Dean, go and get that student called Yi Zichen to come back and sing another song. What? Fu Qingming exclaimed in shock. Why? Don't ask me why. This is what the principal told me. Do as you see fit. The dean directly hung up. Bang! Fu Qingming threw the expensive phone in his hand onto the ground, causing it to shatter. Yi Zichen! Yi Zichen! Yi Zichen sat on the chair with his legs crossed and opened his phone. He saw that his roommates wolves continuously sent him messages. They asked him if he could give his WeChat ID to a certain beauty. Yi Zichen replied in unison. No. If they wanted to use his WeChat ID to pick up girls, they should at least send a red packet. Right? These wolves didn't even want to bleed, yet they wanted to betray him. How could he agree? Yi Zichen looked towards Sun Yaij. She had been ignoring everyone on the chair ever since they returned from the stage. Yi Zichen walked towards her and squatted in front of her. Class rep, you were nervous on stage. You sang quite a few wrong lines. Sun Yaij stood up in shock when she saw Yi Zichen squatting on the floor. Her mind was filled with the scene of Yi Zichen looking at her. For some reason, when she thought of him, her heart raced. What happened? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows in confusion. Sun Yaij merely said that she wasn't feeling well, then ran away from the backstage. What happened? She was fine just now? Yi Zichen shrugged as he watched Sun Yaij run away in confusion, then prepared to leave as well. Since Sun Yaij wasn't here anymore, there wasn't anyone he knew here. Yi Zichen. When Fu Qingming appeared in the backstage, Yi Zichen revealed a helpless expression and shrugged. Young Master Fu, aren't you childish? What are you doing? You want to cause trouble for me here? The school leaders told you to go up and sing another song. Fu Qingming clenched his teeth. Fu Qingming clenched his teeth. Yi Zichen smiled in surprise. Oh, what? Did they conquer this young master's song? Stop bullshitting. Hurry up and get on stage. They're all waiting for you. Fu Qingming snorted coldly. Not only did Yi Zichen not go to the front stage, he instead sat down on the chair. I'm not going. Yi Zichen, don't fail to appreciate my kindness. Fu Qingming was instantly enraged. Everything he had planned out was to step on Yi Zichen. However, this time, he had shot himself in the foot. He had become someone else's stepping stone. Coming here to personally invite Yi Zichen was already the limit of his tolerance, but Yi Zichen failed to appreciate his kindness. I'm not going. I've always been so unappreciative. Could it be that this is the first day that young Master Fu knows me? Yi Zichen smiled playfully, then took out a nail clipper from his pocket and started to trim his nails leisurely. The people outside were still waiting for Yi Zichen to get on stage. Fu Qingming didn't have that much time to waste. What exactly do you want? Phew. Yi Zichen blew on his fingers, then looked up with a smile. Chapter 71. A man with a story. Everyone in the backstage lounge was dumbfounded. They didn't expect Yi Zichen to actually have a conflict with the tyrant of their school. However, they quickly understood. Recently, Yi Zichen was also doing well in school. He had a Porsche in 911 and the school beauty. More importantly, the campus belle, Su Yu, whom Fu Qingming had been pursuing, also had a little ambiguous relationship with the man in front of him. With Fu Qingming's vengeful personality, it would be strange if there were no conflicts. You want me to beg you, Yi Zichen? Fu Qingming pulled Yi Zichen up from the chair. When the other people backstage saw this, they all want to go up and pull Yi Zichen back, but Fu Qingming glared at them. It's none of your business. Mind your own business. The surrounding students licked their lips and stopped what they were doing. They were just a bunch of ordinary students in school. The reason they joined the student council was so that they could have a better future in society. Young Master Fu was someone they couldn't afford to offend. After stopping everyone, Fu Qingming twitched his mouth and pushed Yi Zichen against the wall with a dark gaze. Don't test my patience. In this school, I'm the boss. Yi Zichen laughed like a goose. He really didn't care about this sort of harmless threat. The curtains at the backstage were lifted, and the dean walked in. What are you all doing? All of the surrounding students lowered their heads. At the same time, the dean of the school also walked in front of Fu Qingming and Yi Zichen with a cold snort. Let go. Director, it's not good for you to use this. I didn't do anything. It was young Master Fu who did. Yi Zichen shrugged. The director's expression also darkened as he pointed at Fu Qingming and cursed. Fu Qingming, I told you to come to the lounge to inform Yi Zichen to go up. What are you doing? I think you don't want to be the vice president of the student council anymore. Fu Qingming pushed Yi Zichen against the wall, then stuck his tongue against his gums and revealed a fierce look. Yi Zichen, go up. The dean glanced at Yi Zichen and Fu Qingming. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth, then sat down on a nearby chair and shrugged. I'm not going. I'm afraid of death. What are you talking about? Letting you on stage is a good thing. The director raised his eyebrows. Young Master Fu just came to the backstage and told me that if I go on stage, he will use some means to cripple me. He even told me not to doubt his words, that he has a million ways to ruin my reputation and kick me out of Polytechnic University. Yi Zichen had perfected the art of slandering others. There were no surveillance cameras in the lounge anyway, so he could say whatever he wanted. Moreover, what he said was based on Fu Qingming's personality. With that grandson's personality, it wasn't surprising for him to say something like that. Yi Zichen. Fu Qingming was about to reach out his hand when Yi Zichen heard that. Director, take a look. The director was also angry. He knew Fu Qingming's character well, so he shouted at him. Fu Qingming, this is Polytechnic University, not your company. If you want to behave atrociously, go back to your company. This is not a place for you to cause trouble. Yi Zichen, just you wait. Fu Qingming slammed the script on the ground and left a threatening sentence before leaving the resting room in a threatening manner. Yi Zichen maintained his innocent look. Even after Fu Qingming left, he still maintained a nervous look. Director, take a look. Whatever, don't act with me here. The director rolled his eyes at Yi Zichen. Hurry up and get on the stage. We're all waiting. Yi Zichen scratched his head and chuckled when he didn't think that the director would actually see through him. He took the microphone from a nearby student and saluted towards the director with a smile. I'll go right now. Ka! The lights shone onto Yi Zichen once again. The moment he got on the stage, countless screams immediately sounded out. This scene was just like an Idol's concert. It was extremely cool. However, Yi Zichen instantly failed in less than half a minute. The school leaders told me to come up and sing another song. Yi Zichen smiled awkwardly and scratched his head with the microphone. This brat, the man on the second floor, shook his head with a smile. At that moment, Yi Zichen also spoke up. At the same time, Yi Zichen, who was on the stage, also spoke up. Actually, I don't know what to sing either. How about I sing half for you guys? The moment the prelude of the song sounded out, the stadium immediately fell into silence. Yi Zichen took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and began to sing the song, which was practically made for him. You can take no responsibility for our breakup. It's better for me to feel uneasy halfway through. It's better than getting entangled bit by bit in the future. The cheap ring that I helped you take off is like a gift to everyone. After the song ended, Yi Zichen bowed towards the people below the stage with a warm smile. However, nobody saw the faint traces of tears at the corner of his eyes. I thought of those past times that I don't want to remember again. Yi Zichen leaned against the wall outside the resting room and lit a cigarette for himself. Lu Jing ran out of the dragon eye and floated beside him, raising her eyebrows. Hey, I couldn't tell that you're a person with a story. Yi Zichen smiled after hearing that, but he laughed wryly in his heart. Who doesn't have a story when they live in this world? However, mine doesn't count as a story. It was at most an accident. Buzz, the phone in Yi Zichen's pocket suddenly rang. Yi Zichen took out his phone, and his expression instantly turned sour when he saw the caller ID. Mom, so you still know that I'm your mom. Hurry up and F***CK off back to the hospital. Slap. Yi Zichen scratched his head and put out the cigarette after the other side directly hung up. It seems like the problem is very serious. There were plenty of interesting performances during the school anniversary gala, but after it ended, all the students talked about was Yi Zichen's song. Some students recorded Yi Zichen's singing and put it online. In less than 10-odd minutes, the number of views instantly broke 100,000, and the number of views increased exponentially. Old sure, I've decided. It's this Yi Zichen. The man, who had been sitting on the second floor since the beginning, put on his sunglasses once again and replayed the scene of Yi Zichen's singing on his phone. His singing style was still rather immature, but his singing could be considered to be of the highest quality. Especially the glissando. It was truly smooth like flowing water. Such a good sapling. As long as he packaged him slightly, he would definitely become another superstar. At the same time, within a business hotel suite, a girl in pajamas sat on the sofa and habitually wanted to look at the fans' comments on Weibo. However, a headline caught her attention. Click, play, slap. The phone suddenly slipped out of her hand. The girl quickly picked it up, and, coincidentally, the song had reached its climax. You don't have to take responsibility for our breakup. It's better than being entangled bit by bit in the future. Crack. She clenched her fists tightly. Slap. The phone shattered. Chapter 72. Give me your heart. Special ward of the First People's Hospital. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth and sat on the bed, while Huang Shengmei and Yi Rong stood in the ward. Yi Zichen was truly cursed at by the two of them. What's more, Huang Shengmei was adding fuel to the fire, causing Yi Zichen to worry that Yi Rong would tie him up. Auntie Yi, you know the patient's condition. It's a gunshot wound. If it wasn't for his good luck, the bullet would have been lodged in his shoulder blade. Otherwise, it would have gone through his entire shoulder. How could he run around with such an injury? Huang Shengmei was about to die of anger when Yi Zichen made a face at her and ran away, while Yi Rong's face was also filled with anger. She was also angry about Yi Zichen sneaking away. Dr. Huang, don't worry. I will personally look after Zichen from now on. Today's situation won't happen again. At that moment, Yi Zichen saw Huang Shengmei actually make a yay gesture towards him. Her proud look was as if she had won a battle. Yi Zichen reached out his finger towards her, but Yi Rong slapped it down. Dr. Huang is doing this for your own good. In the future, you're not allowed to leave this ward without my permission. Do you understand? Yi Zichen muttered like a deflated balloon when he saw the anger on Yi Rong's face. Got it. That's it then. Auntie Yi, I'll be leaving first. If you have any questions, feel free to look for me. Thank you, Dr. Huang. After seeing Dr. Huang out of the ward, Yi Rong walked back angrily. I was wrong. Yi Zichen quickly lowered his head and admitted his mistake. In this sort of situation, he would only be able to get leniency if he apologized sincerely. All right, hurry up and go to sleep. You should be tired after being crazy outside for so long. Yi Rong sighed, then covered Yi Zichen with a blanket. It was a silent night. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. The phone beside the pillow rang violently. Who is it? It's midnight. Yi Zichen put the phone in front of him in a daze. White impermanence. White impermanence. In an instant, he was no longer sleepy. White impermanence. Are you there? White impermanence. Can we talk for a while? White impermanence. Picture. Looking at the photos sent by the other party, there was a blonde girl with big boobs and amber eyes. Her body was wrapped in 2 layers of white cloth. White impermanence. Do you think I look good in this? Yi Zichen was shocked. Stop fooling around. Is this the white impermanence? Thinking back to the time when he met white impermanence, he didn't seem to feel that she was so hot. It was definitely a picture stolen from the internet. Yi Zichen thought to himself, if this really is the white impermanence, then wouldn't the black impermanence be messing around outside, be sick in the head? It didn't matter whether the picture was of her or not. What was important was that he needed to infiltrate the underworld through the white impermanence. He glanced at the intimacy level between them. 200. Trust. He didn't expect that the intimacy level between the two of them would be so high. It was even catching up to the intimacy level between him and Erlang Shan. He thought for a moment before replying to her. Yi Zichen, yes. White impermanence. Really, with a shy emoji, as long as you like it. Pooh, as long as I like it. Yi Zichen's expression darkened, then changed the topic. Yi Zichen, why aren't you sleeping properly in the middle of the night? Don't you know that staying up late is bad for women's skin? White impermanence. We all sleep during the day. Yi Zichen instantly understood. The people of the underworld all moved around in the middle of the night, which was different from their daily routine. White impermanence. Did I disturb your rest? Yi Zichen, no. What did you want to talk to me about? Did the black impermanence bully you again? White impermanence. He didn't bully me. It's just that he went out to work, so I was a bit bored. Yi Zichen, shouldn't the two of you be working together? White impermanence. No. Ever since he left your place that day, he asked the higher-ups to partner with someone else. That meant that the black and white impermanence weren't the only ones in the underworld. But then again, it made sense. So many people had died. If they only had to catch a pair of black and white impermanence, then wouldn't they be exhausted to death? Yi Zichen chatted with white impermanence for more than 2 hours, talking about everything from relationships to life. White impermanence finally sent a message over when the sky was about to brighten. White impermanence, thank you for chatting so much with me. I feel a lot better. I'm going to rest. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with white impermanence increased by 20. Current intimacy level, trust, 220. Yi Zichen was speechless when he saw the message. She felt great, but he was so king sleepy. It was fortunate that he didn't chat for nothing. The intimacy level increased by 20. The higher the intimacy level, the easier it would be to ask her to join the group in the future. When that happens, he would benefit from both the underworld and heavenly court. Yi Zichen fell asleep in a daze once again. When he opened his eyes, it was already noon. You're awake. Yi Zichen had thought that the person beside his bed was either Yi Rong or Lu Jing, but he didn't expect Officer Lin to sit beside his bed and look at him with a complicated expression. Why are you here? Are your injuries better? Officer Lin was still wearing the hospital gown, but from her rosy face, it seemed like she should be fine. About 70 to 80%. Officer Lin handed the peeled orange over. Yi Zichen couldn't help but chuckle. Yi Zichen chuckled. Officer Lin, you probably haven't taken care of a patient before, right? I just woke up and you're telling me to eat an orange. Are you really not afraid of me getting angry? Forget it if you don't want to. Officer Lin took the orange back and put a piece in her mouth. Yi Zichen put the pillow behind his back and looked down as she chewed on the orange. Just what did this woman eat to actually be able to grow up so big? Yi Zichen thought as he looked down. When Officer Lin saw this, her expression instantly turned cold. Have you seen enough? Not yet. Yi Zichen answered subconsciously, but when he felt the gaze that seemed like it could kill him, He quickly changed his words. I've seen enough. If you've seen enough, then retract your perverted gaze. All right. Yi Zichen moved his gaze away with a coy smile, then placed his arm behind his head. What did Officer Lin come here for? Could it be to repay a favor? I heard that women have to repay with their bodies in ancient times. Could it be that Officer Lin is the same? If that's true, then that's amazing. Officer Lin subconsciously wanted to get angry, but when she saw the bandage around Yi Zichen's shoulder, she suppressed the anger in her heart. I did come to thank you. Oh, really? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and smiled naughtily. Then Officer Lin is prepared to repay me with your body? I'm not joking with you. I really came to thank you. Thank you for blocking a bullet for me and saving me. Officer Lin bit her lips while her voice became softer and softer. How do you want me to repay you? As long as I can do it, I will satisfy you. Yi Zichen, who was lying on the hospital bed, suddenly laughed naughtily. Chapter 73. You Lao buys cigarettes. I can't repay you with my body. Give me another condition. Officer Lin blushed. At that moment, the door to the ward was pushed open. Lil Yu, I've been looking for you for a long time. So you're here. The one who spoke was a rather handsome man in a police uniform. This is the person who saved you back then, right? The man walked over and extended his hand towards Yi Zichen with a smile. Hello, Zhao Ziming, Lil Yu's boyfriend. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then reached out his hand towards Zhao Ziming when he saw Officer Lin's expression. Yi Zichen. The moment the two of them shook hands, Yi Zichen felt a huge force on his hand, which was pulling his arm outwards. Yi Zichen felt a sharp pain from the wound on his shoulder. He knit his brows tightly together and said nothing. However, when he looked at Zhao Ziming, his expression was indescribable. This man was not as bright as he seemed on the surface. No wonder Officer Lin can't repay me with her body. So you have a boyfriend. Yi Zichen retracted his hand and purposely mentioned the matter of marrying him. As expected, Zhao Ziming's expression instantly darkened when he heard that. However, he hit it very well, so Officer Lin did not notice. Ziming, Yi Zichen is just like that. He likes to joke around. Officer Lin might have been worried that Zhao Ziming would think too much, so she explained. Zhao Ziming's face always carried a gentle smile. He reached out his hand and rubbed Officer Lin's hair. Am I that kind of petty person? Lil Yu, you're injured, and our benefactor also needs to rest. Let's go back to the ward. Officer Lin nodded slightly and smiled towards Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen, I'm leaving. Just as Officer Lin and Zhao Ziming were about to leave the ward, Yi Zichen suddenly called out to her. Officer Lin, at least tell me your name. Lin Xia. After the two of them left the ward, Yi Zichen looked down at his shoulder. The wound that was already healing quickly tore open once again due to Zhao Ziming's tug. A bit of blood had already seeped out from the snow-white gauze. Didn't I tell you not to move around? Why don't you listen? Do you think that I'll harm you? Yi Zichen sat on the chair in Huang Shengmei's office and listened to her nagging. Would you believe me if I said I didn't do it? Do you think I'll believe you? Huang Shengmei rolled her eyes, picked up the scissors from the table, and tied a knot on the gauze. All right, be careful in the future. If you keep tearing like this, it won't be good for you. Got it. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth helplessly, then stood up from the chair and prepared to leave the office. However, Huang Shengmei stopped him. Wait a minute. Yi Zichen stopped and looked at Huang Shengmei with a confused expression. Huang Shengmei walked up to him with her phone and pointed at the picture on the phone. Is it you up there? He glanced at the phone. The scene in the photo was the corridor outside Elder Sue's emergency room. As for the person in the photo, it was indeed him. What? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Huang Shengmei bit her lips. Just say that the person up there isn't you. Yes. Yi Zichen answered without even thinking about it. There was nothing to deny. There were plenty of doctors nearby. If Huang Shengmei really wanted to know, then any one of them would be able to point him out. Hearing his reply, Huang Shengmei did not react for a long time. Yi Zichen raised his hand and waved in front of her. Is there anything else? If there isn't, then I'm leaving. Since she still did not react, Yi Zichen pursed his lips and left the office. Only when he closed the door did Huang Shengmei pick up her phone and look at the photo, while Yi Zichen's reply echoed in her mind. How is that possible? Huang Xingmei scratched her hair, causing it to become a mess. Her friend had sent her this photo. She said that the person in the photo saved a person that even Professor Zheng Cheng could not save. When she got the news, she immediately worshipped this person as a Prince Charming. She fantasized about when she could meet her Prince Charming, until she met Yi Zichen, the patient. No matter how she looked at it, she felt like Yi Zichen was the person in the photo. All of a sudden, she felt like she was crazy. In order to deny her thoughts, she asked Yi Zichen. However, his answer was, she couldn't connect the two of them together no matter what. The Yi Zichen she knew and the Prince Charming in the photo, Huang Xingmei felt like she was going to go crazy. Actually, getting injured was pretty good from Yi Zichen's point of view. At the very least, he didn't have to go to class openly. Yi Zichen hummed a tune as he walked around the hospital. At that moment, the phone in his pocket buzzed. Yu Lao, celestial friend. What did this geezer find him for? Yi Zichen replied to him as he leaned against the willow tree in the hospital. Yi Zichen, here. Yu Lao, celestial friend, you're being a bit unreasonable. Yi Zichen, what is it? This caused Yi Zichen to be a bit confused. Yu Lao, you sent 5 boxes of cigarettes to old Lord Taishang. He came to show off to me just now and even gave me one. I only felt like the cigarettes you gave him were of higher quality than mine after I took a puff. Ugh. So that's what it was. Yi Zichen had thought it was something important. Yi Zichen, old Lord Taishang used a 9 reincarnation soul pill to exchange with me. Yu Lao, if you want higher quality cigarettes, you can use things to exchange. Yu Lao, all right, celestial friend, tell me what you want. It seems like the two geezers in the heavenly court are going to fight since Yu Lao agreed so easily. It's great if we fight. This is definitely beneficial for Yi Zichen. What should he ask for? He had to think about it. The only thing Yu Lao could do seemed to be matchmaking and matchmaking for others. I have enough women by my side. I don't need Yu Lao to matchmake them. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen thought of the new function, treasure shop. Yi Zichen, I want cultivation experience. Yu Lao, about this. Celestial friend, you have to know that cultivation experience is very important to us deities. Yi Zichen, cultivation experience is important. Face is important. What's more, are my cigarettes rare? Yu Lao fell into silence. It seemed like he was struggling as well. After a long time, Yu Lao finally responded. Yu Lao, how do you want to exchange? Yi Zichen, 500 cultivation experience for a box of Zhonghua cigarettes. 220 cultivation experience for a box of Yushi cigarettes. You choose. Yu Lao, give me 10 boxes of Zhonghua. Yi Zichen, hee, pay first, then pay for goods. Ding dong. Yu Lao immediately threw a huge red packet over without saying anything else. You received Yu Lao's red packet. Cultivation experience X 5,000. Yi Zichen felt extremely proud as he looked at the 5,000 cultivation experience he earned. Including the 3,000 cultivation experience from before, he already had 8,000 cultivation experience on hand. He was one step closer to the secret scripture for the fiery eyes of truth. Yi Zichen sent Yu Lao a message after putting the cultivation experience into the celestial plate. Chapter 74. Taishang Laojuan's Chiman medical book. He sent the cigarette smell to Yu Lao. After a while, ding dong. Your intimacy level with Yu Lao increased by 30. Current intimacy level, 180. It can't be. Is Moon Elder's intimacy level so easy to accumulate? Can this trade even increase intimacy level? Ding dong. Dong dong. At this moment, his phone rang again. Yi Zichen flipped open the chat page and saw that old Lord Taishang had contacted him. Old Lord Taishang, fellow Taoist, why did you give cigarettes to Yu Lao? Old Lord Taishang, you gave him 10 boxes? Here. It was clearly a deal between the two parties. However, Yi Zichen quickly reacted. It was definitely Yu Lao and old Lord Taishang together. Yu Lao might be holding a cigarette and showing off to old Lord Taishang. Yi Zichen, actually it's not really. Yu Lao gave me some cultivation experience. Old Lord Taishang, how much will I give you? Yi Zichen, 5,000. Old Lord Taishang, 5,000 cultivation experience for 10 boxes of Zhonghua cigarettes? Do you have any higher quality cigarettes? I'll buy them. Pa Yi Zichen clapped his hands. He liked that. The two of them fought, and he collected the money. Yi Zichen, there must be more high-end ones. Our Zhonghua cigarettes are already a rather high-end brand. However, there were also categories in between. For example, Yulao's Hardbox Zhonghua was the lowest end. Old Lord Taishang, give me a few boxes that are better than his. Yi Zichen, soft packs cost 650 cultivation experience per box. Ding dong. Old Lord Taishang directly threw a red packet over, which Yi Zichen quickly accepted. You have received Old Lord Taishang's red packet. Cultivation experience X 6500 Old Lord Taishang. Yes. Yi Zichen, wait a moment. He ran to the supermarket and bought another 10 boxes of soft-packed Zhonghua. Scan. Send. Ding dong. Old Lord Taishang has received your red packet. Ding dong. Your intimacy with Old Lord Taishang increased by 20. Current intimacy, 120. Interesting. Selling goods could even increase intimacy. He was hoping that Yulao would look for him again, but after more than 10 minutes, there was no reply from Yulao. It seemed like he wouldn't be coming again, but it didn't matter. At least he had earned quite a bit of cultivation experience. He suddenly felt that cultivation experience wasn't that hard to earn. With the resources he had in the mortal world, as well as his celestial plate and celestial title, it wasn't hard to earn cultivation experience. He could totally be a grocery store owner in this group. But before that, he needed to build a good relationship with all the deities in the group. He only knew a few of them now. There was still a long way to go. He still had a long way to go. He stored Old Lord Taishang's 6,500 cultivation experience into his immortal plate. Ding dong. Your immortal position in the heavenly court has been promoted. Immortal plate, nameless Tianzuan, cultivation experience 14500, level 4 immortal official. Ding dong. He activated the lucky roulette. Activation requires 8,888 cultivation experience. What is this for? Yi Zichen saw that a huge will had appeared in the treasure shop, so he subconsciously clicked on it. Congratulations! You've obtained the Taishang Latsu's special medical code, level 1. It has been stored inside your treasure chest. Holy shit! Yi Zichen's hands trembled. Old Lord Taishang's special medical book. This was a treasure with a price tag of 1 million cultivation experience. Yi Zichen clicked open the treasure chest to check Old Lord Taishang's special medical book. Old Lord Taishang's special medical book. Old Lord Taishang's medical book. Withdraw. Ding dong. Would you like to learn Old Lord Taishang's special medical book, level 1? Confirm. All of a sudden, a bunch of information surged into Yi Zichen's mind. Yeezy. A call suddenly sounded out beside Yi Zichen's ear. He looked up and saw Su Yiyun running towards him. It really is you. Why are you here? Su Yiyun patted Yi Zichen's shoulder, causing Yi Zichen's face to instantly turn green. F***CKU. No, what happened? Su Yiyun was confused. Very quickly, he saw the bandage on Yi Zichen's shoulder. F***CKZ, what's going on? You F***king want to kill me, right? Within Yi Zichen's ward. At that moment, the ward was already filled with people. His bros, Su Yin and Xia Kiki, all hurried over. How did you get a gunshot wound? Xia Kiki's delicate face scrunched up. Yi Zichen glared at Su Yiyun in annoyance when he saw the concerned gazes of the surrounding people. He didn't dare to tell the people around him about this blabbermouth because he was afraid of making them worry. Great, now he knew everything. Don't glare at him. Why didn't you tell me when you got so heavily injured? Su Yan's face was also filled with worry. However, Yi Zichen felt a bit awkward in front of her. Where did this awkwardness come from? It came from the affability level between the two of them. After saving old man Su Yan's affability level towards Yi Zichen skyrocketed and directly reached 499. Yes, he was only 1 point away from lovers, but no matter what, this 1 point wouldn't increase. The current relationship between the two of them was more than friends, but not lovers yet. They liked each other, but resisted each other. I wasn't afraid of you guys worrying. But aren't we worried now? Su Yin bit her lips and rebuked. The wolves in the dormitory immediately let out weird cries when they saw that. Easy, I really couldn't tell. You really took down our goddess. Bayu sneakily bumped Yi Zichen's shoulder, while Kong Pong and company also looked at the two of them playfully. Have you guys said enough? Suyin didn't say anything, but Xia Kiki was a bit angry. The roommates in the ward were stunned. Xia Kiki also realized that she shouldn't be like that, so she quickly tried to cover it up. Our Susu's face is very small. She'll be embarrassed like this. Covering up was covering up. None of the people in the room were idiots. All of a sudden, the atmosphere in the room became extremely weird. Bang! At that moment, Huang Xingmei suddenly ran into Yi Zichen's ward. Yi Zichen, I want to trouble you with something. Yi Zichen took out a cigarette from his pocket and lit it up as he looked at the scenery behind him. You can't smoke. Huang Xingmei raised her eyebrows. Yi Zichen nodded and shrugged. Then as a doctor, you should treat your patients properly. Then, as a doctor, you should treat your patients properly. Which doctor would hold their patient hostage like you? I didn't hold you hostage. Okay. Even if I agreed to come over with you, you still took me and ran away from the hospital. Yi Zichen blew out a smoke ring with a light smile. Huang Xingmei pursed her lips and did not retort. I will apologize to Andy Yi when I return to the hospital and ask the hospital for punishment. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth speechlessly when he heard the other party's serious reply. He just wanted to joke around. Who would have thought that this Dr. Huang was actually so boring? You still didn't tell me what you want me to help you with. Yi Zichen chucked the cigarette out of the window and raised his eyebrows. Just now, he followed Huang Xingmei out without even asking anything in order to avoid awkwardness. I want to ask you to help treat my little brother. Chapter 75. Another marriage string treat. There's nothing wrong with this Huang Xingmei, right? She's a living doctor, yet she's telling him, who didn't even get a veterinary license, to treat her little brother. Dr. Huang, did you drink at noon? A hint of sadness flashed across Huang Xingmei's eyes. She focused on driving and replied, I know what you're thinking, but my little brother's illness is a bit strange. I can't do anything. Then I'll be fine? If the person in the photo is really you, then you'll definitely be fine. Huang Xingmei's tone was filled with unquestionable certainty. Yi Zichen seemed to be affected by her certainty, but he still couldn't help but speak up. You really think too highly of me. Half an hour later, Yi Zichen arrived at Huang Xingmei's home. Sis, you're back. The moment Yi Zichen entered the house, a bespectacled boy in a wheelchair appeared in the living room. The boy looked to be 17 or 18 years old, while his entire face revealed a hint of paleness. He was Huang Xingmei's little brother, Huang Yi. Idle. At that moment, Yi Zichen also walked into the room. Huang Yi's eyes brightened, then rolled in front of Yi Zichen and examined him a few times. It really is Idle. Idle, what did you come here for? Sis, he can't be your boyfriend, right? Huang Yi's eyes were filled with excitement. Yi Zichen was a bit stunned by his shout. Huang Xingmei also blushed, then knocked his head. What are you saying? Sis found him to treat you. Idle is treating me. Huang Yi's expression changed. Seeing his expression, Huang Xingmei quickly explained. Lily, don't think too much. That's great. How do I cooperate? Unexpectedly, Huang Yi actually laughed excitedly. Huang Xingmei was a bit confused by her little brother. Her little brother had always been very resistant when she asked people to treat him before and had never been so cooperative. However, Huang Yi cooperating with the treatment was definitely a good thing for Huang Xingmei. Yi Zichen, I called you over to ask you to help take a look. Can my little brother's leg get better? Her gaze landed on Huang Xingmei's leg. Heaven's paralyzed. This should be an illness from when he was in the womb. I found plenty of orthopedic specialists for him. I even found Professor Zheng Cheng, but none of them were able to cure him. Huang Xingmei was worried. Find a place to lie down. Yi Zichen asked. To be honest, Yi Zichen suddenly felt a bit of admiration for his older sister, Huang Xingmei. In Huang Yi's situation, his lower body was completely unable to take care of itself. Huang Xingmei continued to take care of him like this, which was worthy of admiration. All right. Before Huang Xingmei could say anything, Huang Yi had already rolled his wheelchair back to the bedroom. With Yi Zichen and Huang Xingmei's help, he laid down on the bed. Yi Zichen also reached out and pressed on the back of his waist. Do you feel anything? I don't feel anything. What about here? I have an indescribable feeling. After pressing a few more places, Yi Zichen retracted his hand. How is it? Huang Xingmei asked worriedly. Yes, but what? Huang Xingmei was beyond excited. Yi Zichen raised his hand to signal her not to be too impulsive. It can be treated, but not now. I'll come back in a few days. Why do we have to wait a few days? If you have any requests, then just say it. As long as you can help my little brother stand up, then even if you want me. Dr. Huang suddenly paused. While Yi Zichen also revealed a playful smile, Even if you want me? Huang Xingmei didn't say anything. Yi Zichen also knew that she had spoken out of impulse just now, so he shrugged towards her with a smile. I'm not the type of person to kick someone when they're down. I really can't treat your little brother right now, but I'll naturally tell you when I can. Don't think too much. There was indeed a treatment method in old Lord Taishang's special medical canon, but it was a bit different from Chinese acupuncture and Western medicine surgery. He used qi to treat Huang Yi. Just now, Yi Zichen pressed on Huang Yi a few times using qi, but he had just learned the special medical canon, so he didn't have enough qi left. Opening up Huang Yi's blocked meridians required an ocean's worth of qi. The current him, it was drizzling. Sis, how did you get to know your idol? After Yi Zichen left, Huang Yi laid on the bed and raised his eyebrows towards Huang Xingmei. What idol? Why don't I understand? You've been calling him idol from the start. Just what's going on? Huang Xingmei frowned. Huang Xinglei took out his phone and clicked on the video under Weibo. What's this? Listen, it's my idol singing. Huang Xinglei handed the phone over, causing Huang Xingmei to look at the video in confusion. Yi Zichen. Huang Xingmei raised his eyebrows when she saw the person in the video. However, there wasn't anything special in the beginning, so she just couldn't understand how he became her little brother's idol. Until, you don't have to bear the consequences for us, Bothump. When she heard this, Huang Xingmei's heart suddenly started pounding violently. At that moment, Yi Zichen's singing pierced through her heart like a sharp sword. Her heart skipped a beat. Ding dong. Received marriage string X1. Yi Zichen, who was standing below Huang Xingmei's house, was shocked. How did he get marriage string? He clicked open the treasure chest. Holder. Yi Zichen. Possessed. Huang Xingmei. Current affability level, 10. It can't be. Yi Zichen opened his eyes wide, speechlessly. There wasn't anything between him and Huang Xingmei. Why did he get a marriage string? Could it be that this girl really wants to repay him with her body to treat his little brother? But the treatment hasn't even started yet. Yi Zichen rubbed his head and called a taxi. As long as the marriage string was established, it meant that the other party definitely had a good impression of him. What's going on? Yi Zichen shook his head and chucked the matter of Huang Xingmei's marriage string to the back of his mind. Where to? The First People's Hospital. The moment he finished, Yi Zichen's phone rang again. Yi Zichen, right? The number was an unknown number. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows when he heard the slightly sinister voice from the other side. It's me. Your roommates are in our hands. If you don't want anything to happen to them, then come and find me at the abandoned factory in the Dongqing district. Boom. Yi Zichen felt his head go numb. Why should I believe you? Zichen, don't. Baiyu's shout suddenly sounded out from the other side of the phone. Not long later, a muffled voice sounded out from the other side of the phone. Your roommates aren't too obedient. The abandoned factory in the Dongqing district. Remember, come by yourself, slap. The other party hung up. Yi Zichen clenched his fist tightly when he heard the busy tone. Chapter 76. Bring disaster to innocent bystanders. Dongqing district's abandoned factory. Dilapidated, barren, overgrown with weeds. After leaving the taxi, Yi Zichen stood in front of the old factory's main entrance and dialed the unknown number. I'm here, where are you guys? I didn't expect you to be so fast. Just directly come in, you'll see us. Creak. Yi Zichen pushed open the old metal door. An ear-piercing sound was transmitted into his ears, while a pungent dampness assaulted his nose. Light shone through the opening of the door and into the interior, A long-haired man with a row of piercings on his right ear sat at the main entrance. The man, who was wearing riveted clothes, crossed his legs and smoked. When he saw Yizichin, he immediately chucked the cigarette onto the ground. "You came? Where's my roommate?" Yizichin frowned. The man clapped his hands, then saw two men drive by Yu and Kong Peng out from a dark corner of the factory. Both of them were covered in blood, and their heads hung low as they breathed their last. Creak. F*CK, crack. The moment Yizichin raised his fist, a black muzzle was already pointed at him. "Don't be so impulsive, otherwise you'll be in great danger." The man waved his hand towards his subordinates, causing them to instantly pick up the gunman. "Let my friend go. The person you guys are looking for is me." Yizichin maintained his calm and stared straight at the man. But in secret, he had been communicating with Lu Jing all this time. The man raised his eyebrows after hearing that. He lit a cigarette for himself with a smile, then blew a puff of smoke towards Yizichin. "I can let your friend go, but before that, I need to see you die. I have a habit of letting the dead speak their last words. You're no exception. I want to know who hired you to kill me." Yizichin looked straight at the man, while paying attention to Lu Jing's situation. "I'm very sorry about that, but we can't talk about it." The man laughed softly. "So," Yizichin crossed his arms and lowered his head as if he had accepted his fate. The moment the man let down his guard, Yizichin raised his fist and punched him. F*CKU. Yizichin's angry punch directly sent the man flying into the air, causing the surrounding criminals to pull the trigger at Yizichin. But the gun did not go off. "It's not working anymore, right?" Yizichin raised his eyebrows at the criminals, then kicked them. "Lu Jing, well done." Yizichin gave Lu Jing, who was floating in midair, a thumbs up, then quickly restrained all the criminals before walking in front of the man. "Do you know that you've really angered me?" Crack. Yizichin stepped on a man's arm that was reaching for the gun, then grabbed the gun and pressed it against the man's temple. "Tell me, who ordered you to do this?" Yizichin practically roared. He could deal with him, but Baiyu, Kong Peng, and the others were completely innocent. They were just his roommates, but they had to suffer such an undeserved calamity. "Speak." Yizichin hit the man's stomach with force, then pressed the gun against the man's forehead. "If you don't speak, I'll shoot you." "Ha!" The man Yizichin had pinned to the ground suddenly grinned. Broken teeth and blood flowed out of his mouth as he spoke. "You're the one who killed me? Brat, I have my principles. I can't expose my employer's identity. Shoot. Do you believe that I'll really shoot you?" "I believe you shoot." The man slowly closed his eyes, as if he had truly disregarded life and death. Yizichin's hand, which was holding the gun, gradually started to tremble. How could he dare to shoot? All of a sudden, an idea flashed through Yizichin's mind. He casually chucked the gun onto the ground. At that moment, the man also opened his eyes and revealed a playful smile. "What, you don't dare? Hee. Letting you die so easily is a bit too easy on you." Yizichin pointed his right index finger at the man's waist. "Enjoy it, then decide whether or not to tell me when the time comes." Yizichin chucked the man to the side, then ran in front of Baiyu and Kong Peng. He didn't know what sort of abuse the two of them had gone through before he came, but their faces were all bloody. "Baiyu, Kong Peng." Yizichin shook their shoulders violently. After a long while, they slowly opened their eyes. Eat this." Yizichin took out 2 great recovery pills from his WeChat and stuffed them into Baiyu and Kong Peng's mouths. The moment the pills entered their mouths, the faces of the 2 people, who were on the verge of death, gradually turned rosy. At the same time, the man who had kidnapped Baiyu and Kong Peng. From the very beginning, he never took Yizichin seriously, even though he had the absolute upper hand. Even though he was so close to death, he was never afraid. Until Yizichin pointed at his waist. He felt as if his body had been hollowed out, while his lower abdomen felt as if it was being cut by a knife, causing waves of pain. Not long later, he felt his lower body gradually lose feeling. When he looked down, he saw a pool of blood. "What did you do to me?" the man shouted in terror. At that moment, Yizichin also walked towards him with a smile. "Have you thought it through? Tell me, who exactly made you do this?" "I can't. All right, enjoy it then. Yi Zichen shrugged, then stood up from the ground. However, at that moment, the man suddenly spoke up. I said, young Master Fu told us to do this. He said this is just the beginning. He wants the people around you to suffer. Bang! Yi Zichen kicked the man, causing his eyes to open wide. Fu Changming, inform Chief Lu to clean up the battlefield and send Bai Yu and Kong Peng to the hospital. Yi Zichen, who was sitting on a chair in the hallway outside the ward, had bloodshot eyes. No matter what dirty tricks Fu Qingming used on Yi Zichen was able to accept it. But this time, he had really touched his bottom line. Yi Zichen picked up his phone and said solemnly, tell me where Fu Qingming is. In a high-end business club. Damn, you can't even handle such a small matter. The moment he hung up the phone, Fu Qingming's face darkened. Master Fu, scram, scram, scram. All of you F***king scram. Fu Changming, who was sitting on the sofa, suddenly flipped out and smashed all of the alcohol on the coffee table onto the floor. All of the princesses in the room were scared by him, causing them to frantically run away. You're all F***king trash. After the princesses left, Fu Changming continuously cursed in the room with a dark expression. However, at that moment, the door to the room was forcefully pushed open. Yi Zichen stood at the door of the room alone and looked coldly at Fu Qingming, who was in the room, with a smile. Young Master Fu, you truly made me look for you. The gloomy voice was like the roar of a beast from hell, while the originally hot temperature in the room also became incomparably cold. At this moment, Fu Qingming also stood up with a terrified expression. He was arrogant because of the money and people in his hands. Being alone, especially when he saw Yi Zichen's cold gaze. What do you want to do? Yi Zichen suddenly laughed, then closed the door of the room. Chapter 77. Dragon King of the Four Seas enters the group 10 odd minutes later. Yi Zichen stood up from the floor of the room. Yi Zichen glanced at Fu Changming, who was lying on the floor like a dead dog, and snorted with a cold smile. If you want to play tricks, then come find me. If you dare to touch the people around me, then I'll take your dog life. When Yi Zichen left the clubhouse, it was already nighttime. There were 10 odd missed calls from Su Yun and his other roommates. Yi Zichen had left too impulsively, so they were all worried that something had happened to him. Yi Zichen replied to them to tell them that he was fine, then found a nearby restaurant to sit down. Hey, that guy doesn't seem to be a normal person. Will anyone arrest you for beating him up like that? Lu Jing revealed a worried expression as she floated in midair. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth with a smile. Arrest me? Your dad is going to bring people to arrest him later. Did you forget that those guys were all taken away by your dad's people? Lu Jing nodded with a giggle. At that moment, Yi Zichen saw a white shadow flash past his eyes. It really is you. A slightly surprised tone sounded out. Yi Zichen looked up and saw white impermanence appear out of nowhere and sit on the chair opposite him. Why are you here? Yi Zichen was shocked. When he looked to the side, he noticed that she was holding a chain, which was chained to a ferocious-looking guy. I'm out to work. I was wondering whether I could meet you when I came. I didn't think that I would actually meet you. White impermanence's tone always carried a faint hint of joy. Yi Zichen really couldn't handle this sort of warmth, especially when he suddenly recalled what Lu Jing had said a while ago. This white impermanence couldn't have really fallen for him, right? Thinking about it, Yi Zichen felt a chill down his spine. Was this going to be a ghost story? But then again, this white impermanence was rather gentle. However, very quickly, Yi Zichen saw an unforgettable scene. The chain ghost seemed to want to run. White impermanence, who was sitting on the chair, noticed the ghost's movement. She pulled with her right hand and directly stepped on the ghost. You still want to run at a time like this? Do you think Laonyang is easy to deal with? Yi Zichen looked at all of this in shock. Meanwhile, white impermanence was like a female tyrannosaurus as she smacked the ferocious spirit. After subduing the vile soul, white impermanence turned her head again and spoke in a gentle voice. By the way, where were we just now? After chatting with white impermanence for another half an hour, his phone suddenly rang. I can't make it. I have to go back. Standing up from the chair, White Impermanence grabbed the ghost in her hand and walked out. Yi Zichen frowned, then thought about the mission Tai by jinxing gave him weight. What happened? White Impermanence turned her head abruptly, and there was a hint of anticipation in her voice. Yi Zichen licked his lips and steeled his heart. How do you communicate with each other? Do you have a WeChat group? Yes. White Impermanence nodded. Is there a problem? Yi Zichen scratched his head and looked at White Impermanence. After a long time, he still didn't voice out his intention to join the group. No problem. Hurry up and go back. Didn't your people call for you? Let's chat on WeChat when we have time. White Impermanence pulled the chains, then dragged the vile soul away from Yi Zichen's eyes like dragging a dead dog. Wow, this White Impermanence is so fierce, Lu Jing said slowly on the side. She couldn't help but tremble when she thought about how the other party wanted to capture her. She is indeed fierce, Yi Zichen shrugged. Yi Zichen shrugged, but more than that, he regretted not mentioning the matter of him entering the group. However, when he thought about it, they just got to know each other for such a short time. Wanted to enter the group? It was too abrupt. It was better to just increase the intimacy level. It might be safer when the intimacy level was higher. The next morning, Yi Zichen felt his phone buzz while he was asleep. He opened his eyes and opened his phone. Yi Zichen was shocked by the 99+ unread messages in the WeChat group. Read packets? Yi Zichen's heart jumped. He clicked on a WeChat group and saw that it was a fight. However, what surprised him was that the main character of the fight was not Erlang Shun, but Neza. Yi Zichen scrolled up the chat history and understood. Half an hour ago, Tai-Bai Jinxing invited the Dragon Kings of the Four Seas in. At that time, Neza was showing off his dragon-slaying achievements. The Dragon Kings of the Four Seas coincidentally bumped into this chat. What's more, Neza already had a grudge with the Dragon Kings, so they instantly started to fight. Don't underestimate this cute little Neza. His words were definitely 100 times sharper than Erlang Shun's. He fought against a group of Dragon Kings by himself. He was actually able to hold his ground. Perhaps it was because Neza was annoyed by the Dragon Kings of the Four Seas. The Dragon King of the East Sea directly went to find Neza's parents. Dragon King of the East Sea, pagoda-bearing Heavenly King Li Jing, control your son. Neza, old ghost, do you think I'm scared of you just because you want to find my dad? Dragon King of the East Sea. The fight stopped. Yi Zichen waited for 10-odd minutes, but third Prince Neza did not send another message. Canopy Marshal. The third prince is probably done for this time. God of Thunder. Dragon King of the East Sea, you're too petty. Our group's rule is never to find parents for fights. Look at Erlang Shun. When did he find parents for fights? Mother of Lightning. Yeah. Immortality Peach Fairy. I don't make any comments, but I don't like to find parents. All of a sudden, everyone in the group began to denounce the Dragon King of the East Ocean. After a while, Li Jing appeared. Pagoda-bearing Heavenly King Li Jing. I've already taught my unfilial son a lesson. I hope the Dragon Kings of the Four Seas won't be offended. He's still young and insensible. He really got beaten up. Yi Zichen clicked on Neza's moments and saw that Neza's latest status update was a text message. My dad hit me. I'm not happy. I'm going to slay a dragon. Pooh. This adorable little immortal really slaughtered a dragon at the slightest disagreement. For some reason, Yi Zichen clicked a like. Not long later, Neza actually added him as a friend. Except, Neza, do you want to slay a dragon with me? What was he doing? Was he trying to form a clique? Yi Zichen, I'm in a secret location, so I can't go with you. Neza, then why did you like it? I thought you wanted to be with me. Followed by a row of unhappy emojis. Yi Zichen, embarrassed. Little deity Neza didn't reply to him anymore. It seemed like he was really going to slay the dragon. Yi Zichen clicked open the WeChat group and saw that the people were still denouncing the Dragon King of the East Sea. Denouncing was King useless. Red packets were the way to go. All right. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes speechlessly, then sent a message without thinking. Chapter 78. Initial concept of a grocery store. Yi Zichen definitely wouldn't have dared to speak up so openly in the group in the past, but it was different now. He had a celestial title, celestial plate, and even an estate. What was there to be afraid of? Yi Zichen's appearance instantly caused the group to explode. Only idealism could be said to be a legend in the group. Tai Bai Jinxing had mentioned him personally, and Erlang Shun had even argued with him. Canopy Marshal, great deity, has spoken up. Immortality Peach Fairy, idol. A bunch of emojis with hearts in their eyes. God of Thunder. Doesn't great deity like to lurk? Mother of Lightning. Wow, what's going on? Even great deity came out. Everyone in the group instantly turned their attention to Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen felt a bit embarrassed as he looked at the continuously scrolling chat history. Yi Zichen, ahem, pay attention to the main point. This sovereign came to ask for red packets. God of Thunder. Yeah, Dragon King, send red packets. Mother of Lightning. Send red packets, send red packets. Barefoot Immortal. I also like to join in on the fun. Dragon King of the East Sea. I wonder who this great deity is. This was the first time the Dragon King of the East Sea saw Yi Zichen, this great deity, after staying in the heavenly court for so long. The others in the group also stopped replying. To be honest, they didn't know what Yi Zichen's true identity was either. Yi Zichen directly sent out his celestial title, celestial plate, and residence without thinking. The celestial title and celestial plate didn't really matter. The most important thing was the location of the residence. Number 137 Willow Rock Circle in the 37th heaven. Boom! The group instantly exploded. Most of the people who lived in the heavenly court lived below the 18 heavens. Those from the 18th to the 36th heaven were great deities. The 37th heaven meant that they lived on the same level as Tai Bai Jinxing. Immortality Peach Fairy. Greetings to Celestial Sovereign. God of Thunder. Greetings to Celestial Sovereign. Mother of Lightning. Greetings to Celestial Sovereign. Dragon King of the East Sea was also shocked. He didn't think that he would be so honored to be by such a high-level great deity. He couldn't help but secretly take a screenshot. He could definitely brag about it to his family. Yi Zichen, ahem, stop for a second. This sovereign came to ask for red packets. Canopy Marshal, East Sea Dragon King, West Sea Dragon King, North Sea Dragon King, South Sea Dragon King. Great deity wants you to send red packets. Dragon King of the East Sea. I'll send it. Initially, he didn't want to post, but since the great deity tagged him, he couldn't be stingy. He gritted his teeth and stomped his feet. Hair. Ding dong. Yi Zichen's phone vibrated. I poke. He was too slow, and the red packets were all snatched up. F***CK. These immortals are all beasts, right? Looking at the number of red packets, there were a total of 50 red packets, and they were all gone in a moment. Dragon King of the East Sea. I'm rich. Dragon King of the West Sea. I'll do it. Yi Zichen stared straight at the screen after hearing the Dragon King's words. He might have been distracted just now. This time, he had to get it. Ding dong. I poke. You have received the West Sea Dragon King's red packet. Fragment of Soul Pearl Eun X1. Before Xiao Chun could react, the Southern Sea Dragon King also attacked. Yi Zichen nodded. Double kill. You have received a red packet from the Dragon King of the South Sea. Fragment of Soul Pearl Eun X1 Ding Dong. The North Sea Dragon King's red packet also appeared. Triple kill. You have received the West Sea Dragon King's red packet. Fragment of Soul Pearl Eun X1. Yi Zichen was a bit confused after snatching all the red packets. The 3 bags he snatched were all fragments of Soul Pearl Eun. What was this Soul Pearl Eun used for? Canopy Marshal. Great deity. You're really good at idealism. God of Thunder. Heavens. Great Immortal got 3 fragments. Immortality Peach Fairy. Why did I snatch the blood coral? It's not fair. From the looks of it, this fragment of Soul Pearl Eun was a good item. He tapped on the WeChat treasure chest. The 3 fragments of Soul Pearl Eun were placed inside the box. Fragment of Soul Pearl Eun. A fragment of an ancient magic tool that was worn by the Yellow Emperor during the Battle of Chiyu. There are 6 fragments in total. Current number of fragments, 3. Ancient Dermic Artifact? But even if it was an ancient Dermic artifact, it was still a fragment. It was completely useless to him. The people in the group all said that Yi Zichen was lucky and that a celestial sovereign was a celestial sovereign, and that his luck was as good as the sky. But at this moment, the miserly thunder god suddenly sent a message. God of thunder, I don't think great deity Nameless has ever sent a gift when he entered the group. Mother of lightning, it seems so. Canopy martial, only idealism. Great deity, you can't break the rules. Seeing that, the dragon kings of the four seas all agreed. They had just given up some blood, so they had to take back some. Yizichin couldn't help but feel speechless as he looked at the scrolling messages on the screen. They're starting to screw me over. All of a sudden, Yizichin's eyes lit up. This seemed to be a good thing for him. He just so happened to want to promote his grocery store in the heavenly court. Wasn't this giving him a chance? Yizichin, one moment. After sending that message, Yizichin shouted towards Lu Jing. Lu Jing, go downstairs and steal a few boxes of carbonated drinks for me. Oh what? Go and steal a few boxes. It's not convenient for me here. Okay. Not long later, Lu Jing appeared in front of him with a pile of drinks. Scan. Send. Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong. A row of messages of who received your red packet instantly appeared on his phone. It was so fast that his phone nearly froze. Canopy Marshall. Sprite, what is this? Immortality, Peach Fairy. Only idealism. Great deity, what is Shuangwei? God of thunder, what's Pepsi Cola? Yizichin. This is something that this sovereign found in a secret location. Treasure. Enjoy it slowly. With that, Erlang Shun, Monkey King, Yu Lao, and Old Lord Taishang appeared. Erlang Shun. Only idealism. Bro, why didn't you call me when you sent red packets? Monkey King. Only idealism. Why didn't you at me, old son? Yu Lao. I seem to have missed it. Old Lord Taishang. I came a bit late, it's all gone. When the people in the group saw the four of them appear, they instantly exploded once more. These four were all great deities of the heavenly court. All of a sudden, Yizichin's position in their hearts rose a bit. Ding dong. Ding dong. Yizichin's WeChat friend list buzzed a few times. He opened it and saw that Tai-Bai Jinxing had sent him a message. Tai-Bai Jinxing. Who told you to send this trash to the group? Tai-Bai Jinxing. Who gave you the authority to do that? I saw you Lao and Old Lord Taishang have cigarettes in their hand a while ago. You sent it, right? Oh wow. Geezer Tai-Bai actually knows these things. However, when he thought about it, since Geezer Tai-Bai Jinxing already knows my identity, it doesn't really matter if he knows this. Yizichin was also a person, so he directly replied without retorting. Yizichin, Tai-Bai Jinxing. You're still following me? Do you know Ding Dong? Before Tai-Bai Jinxing finished, Yizichin directly sent a red packet over. Yizichin, don't say that this brat doesn't know anything. Soft packet Chunghua, 650 cultivation experience per packet. I'll give it to you. Yizichin ignored him after sending that message. What's the point of bullshitting so much? He's just showing off to me right now. Give me some time. Chapter 79. Talent Agency finds him Yizichin was in an extremely good mood after sending out a wave of carbonated drinks in the heavenly court. If there were no surprises, then deities would definitely come to find him before long. At that time, cultivation experience and treasures would come rolling in. Yizichin washed up quickly, then arrived at Kong Peng and Baiyu's ward. When he arrived, the group of people in a room were gathered together and looking at something. Yizichin tiptoed over. Look, that's ouch. Everyone was shocked by him. Yizichin walked over with a chuckle. Isn't this Yang Yu sure? Yizichin raised his eyebrows and smiled when he saw the photo on his phone. Yang Yushir said that she returned to Bingsheng. She said on Weibo that she saw her on Central Street. Unfortunately, my roommates are seriously ill, so I have to stay behind to take care of them. I can't see my goddess up close. Zhang Rui sighed softly, while his eyes were filled with undisguisable loneliness. Su Yu knocked his head and cursed. What are you saying? How could you say that? I really want to take a needle and sew it up for you. But since Yang Yushir returned to Bingsheng, it is quite a pity that I can't go and see her. Kong Peng, who was lying on the bed, also nodded in agreement. Yang Yushir could be said to be the goddess in the hearts of many otakus, as well as a popular movie star recently. No matter where she went, the topic would follow. Just like on Weibo just now, She merely appeared on Central Street, yet she was able to get on the headlines. From this, it could be seen just how popular she was. Everyone in the ward sighed. However, Yi Zichen smiled playfully. Zhang Rue, didn't you say that Su Yin is your goddess? Why did it change to her again? Beng mentioned Su Yin to me. I get angry whenever she is mentioned. Zhang Rue suddenly threw his phone onto the bed and stood up from the chair. You're in a relationship with Su Yin, right? Don't pretend. I can see it clearly with my eyes. Silence means that you agree, right? Zhang Rue licked his lips and nodded towards Yi Zichen, then immediately exploded. Old Five, oh Old Five, you're so shameless. You took the goddess down without saying anything, and you didn't even tell us. But it doesn't matter. You've already taken him down. That's because you, OL5, are capable. Don't you have a bit of an affair with the school beauty, Xia Kiki? OL5, people can't be so insincere. One goddess Su Yin is enough. You're too greedy. As soon as Zhang Rue finished speaking, Kong Peng slapped his thigh. Hey, that's right. Now that Lao Si mentioned it, I remembered. That day in the ward, I felt like there was something wrong with the way Xia Kiki and Su Yin looked at you, especially when we talk about you and Su Yin. She even got angry. What's going on with you and Xia Kiki? Yi Zi, are they telling the truth? Su Yun asked. All of a sudden, everyone in the room started to condemn Yi Zichen, especially Su Yun, who stared fixedly at him, as if saying, you have to give me a reasonable explanation. Yi Zichen really didn't expect his words to cause such a chain reaction. There was no helping it. He could only choose death. Yi Zichen didn't say anything even after being questioned by his roommates for a long time. Dong dong. Fortunately, someone knocked on the ward door. Su Yun raised his eyebrows and snorted at Yi Zichen. Yi Zi, you have to give me an explanation. Then he walked to the door and opened it. Principal Sure. The person who knocked on the door was Principal Sure, while a man wearing sunglasses stood up from his side. Everyone in the room were students of Polytechnic University. When they saw Principal Sure, they all stood up from their chairs. Yi Zichen was no exception. However, at that moment, a girl walked in from outside the ward. F***CK, Yang Yusher, Zhang Rue exclaimed. Zhang Rue, pinch me. It really is Yang Yusher, right? Zhu Yinbai also revealed an excited expression. Sui Yun, Kong Peng, and Bai Yu were also shocked. Yang Yusher actually came to their place. Hello. Yang Yusher waved towards everyone in the ward. After pausing on Yi Zichen for a moment, she walked beside the man wearing sunglasses. F***CK, it really is Yang Yusher. Oh my god, why did she come here? It was clear that Yang Yusher was already used to the exclamations in the ward. She stood silently beside the man, wearing sunglasses without saying anything. You brats, did you forget about me, the colonel, when you saw a big celebrity? Principal sure shook his head with a smile, while everyone in the ward revealed an awkward expression. Su Yun chuckled, then ran in front of Principal Sure. Principal Sure, you didn't come here to scold us, right? Principal Sure couldn't help but shake his head with a smile when he saw Su Yun. It seemed like the two of them knew each other, but when he thought about Su Yun's family background, it wasn't that strange for him to know Principal Sure. I came here to find Yi Zichen. To be more precise, it's this person, Director, who is looking for Yi Zichen. Principal Sure pointed at the man wearing sunglasses beside him. At the same time, the man also took off his sunglasses and smiled. Hello, Yi Zichen. Hello, Yi Zichen. I'm Hu Hong from Dream Attraction Company. Dream Attraction? Isn't that the biggest artiste agency in the country? Zhang Rue pushed up his glasses and exclaimed softly as he looked at Hu Hong. Oh yeah, Yang Yusher is from Dream Attraction. Yi Zichen nodded towards Hu Hong. After a simple handshake, Hu Hong spoke up. My purpose for coming here is very simple. I want to invite Yi Zichen to join our company. Everyone in the ward was shocked. Actually, I saw Yi Zichen's performance at the school anniversary gala. Seriously, you were born to be a celebrity. I sincerely invite you to join our company. I can promise to give you the best production and PR team to pave the way for you. I only need your voice. That's enough. It could be said that the conditions Hu Hong offered were so rich that it was hard for anyone to refuse. Yi Zichen was still a university student, yet he was personally invited by a management company's CEO. The promise he gave was also ridiculously high. Yi Zi, you're going to be a celebrity. Yi Zi, shouldn't you give us bros an autograph? Yi Zi, you're amazing. The other roommates in the ward all started to congratulate him, while Hu Hong also looked at Yi Zichen with a smile. After listening to Yi Zichen's songs, he felt that Yi Zichen was definitely an unpolished gem. He also made up his mind to take Yi Zichen into the company. In order to ensure that nothing would go wrong, he even came here personally. However, sorry, I refuse. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. Hearing that, everyone in the ward was shocked. Yang Yushi, who had been standing next to Hu Hong, also widened her eyes. Hu Hong was even more astonished as he spoke. Hu Hong also spoke up in shock. Yi Zichen looked up and smiled softly, then looked straight at Yang Yushi, who was beside him,